Everyone, and welcome to another step along TSN's road to the Vanier Cup, the Hardy Trophy, the Canada West Championship. I'm Rod Smith. It is indeed a rematch, although a couple of subtle differences. Last year the game was played in Saskatoon, and the Huskies were clearly the better team. They met twice this season, though, and Calgary was better, scoring a late drive in their opening game at the 1st of September to win it 28-23. No contest 4 weeks later. Calgary won it easily, 51-17. Both teams finished tied with the records of 6-2, but the Dinos deserving home field advantage, of course. With me, as usual, our analyst Jamie Bowen. Talk about a Calgary advantage. Could there be a bigger one than having slot-back Don Blair, arguably the #1 player in CIAU football?
I'm going to go one step further, Rod. I'm going to say that he may be the best receiver ever to play in the CIAU. He has put up some incredible numbers. Last year he had 1,000 yards receiving. This year he set a new CIAU record with 1,112 yards of pass receiving, 56 catches, 17 touchdowns, and he is a dangerous, athletic receiver when he gets in the open field. And who has that enviable task of throwing the ball to Don Blair? None other than their fourth-year quarterback, Jason Assen. 59% passer, put up some great numbers, 1,842 yards, 20 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions.
Well, remember, Assen's counterpart is no slouch either. Brent Schneider, the MVP of the Vanier Cup last year in a losing cause to Western, had a slow start this season, had some changes at receiver, but he's really come on in the last 2 games.
Hockey coaches will tell you they always like to have a hot goaltender going in the playoffs. Football coaches are no different. They say we want to have a hot quarterback, and Brian Towers is the hottest quarterback in the nation right now. Brent Schneider has his game back on track. 8 touchdowns in the last 2 games, only 1 interception. He is now working on the same page with all of his receivers, and they have their game at #1.
In the last 15 Canada West Championships, 12 times the winner has gone on to play in the Vanier Cup and won the Cup nearly half the time. That trend has a greater chance of continuing this year because the winner of this game gets to host the national semifinal, the Churchill Bowl, against either Ottawa U or Queens next Saturday. It is a beautiful day here at McMahon Stadium. Both teams have great offenses, great field conditions. Could be lots of points.
CIAU football on TSN is brought to you by Geo, a very smart car. And by Tim Hortons. You've always got time for Tim Hortons.
The Saskatchewan Huskies and the Calgary Dinosaurs once again playing for the Hardy Trophy and the Canada West Championship. And we'll have the opening kickoff after this. Here in Calgary, the story of the week has been the weather, and in fact it caused the Saskatchewan Huskies and Calgary Dinos to push this game back from Friday night, today and Saturday, and a good idea, -1 with the wind 25 kilometers an hour. Compare that to just yesterday when it got as low as a -19 and much chillier with the wind chill. Since 1988, these have been the teams. 4 conference crowns for U of S, 3 for Calgary, and you see the Vanier Cup appearances. UBC was the last team other than these 2 schools to win the Canada West, and that was back in 1987.
Brian Towers, the head coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, has put together a great program here when he took it over 13 seasons ago at the young age of 27.
And that's the thing, 27 years of age, and he's already coached that long. Not a stretch to think he'll be coaching a lot longer in this, and Peter Cannellan has been at it a long time as well.
And he's the dean of coaches in Canada West right now. Coach of the year in the CIAU in 1977 in his first year when he took over from Mike Lashuk on an interim basis, and also in 1985.
Greg Moe, the Saskatchewan Huskies, will get this Canada West Championship underway. And it is picked up about the 10-yard line by Tarek Jayusi of the Calgary Dinos, who brings it out to about the 30, where Jason Assen and company will get things started for Calgary.
Jason Assen, as we talked in the beginning of the telecast, put up some great numbers this year. Has really developed into one of the top quarterbacks in the nation. 20 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, and I'll tell you what, he'll be looking for Don Blair all day long today. They have yet to stop Don Blair this season.
Blair is a threat, not only just catching the ball, but running with it afterwards. They love to throw the ball to number 20. And Assen will throw right away. Looking off to his left, and almost picked off there. Goes off the fingertips of Mitch Barber. That was intended for number 36, Ryan Carruthers.
Good job by Mitch Barber, the inside halfback for Saskatchewan.
See the offensive line for the Calgary Dinos rather. Harold Anderson, injured, missed 5 games this year with a knee injury, medial collateral ligament, and a big factor. He's the only guy left from the 92 team that went on to the Atlantic Bowl.
And we don't have to mention about Don Blair. We've talked about him, but Kevin Klein, big surprise, back in the lineup at wide receiver after having a hurt knee.
2nd and 10 Calgary. Assen goes to work again. Has a man, but it falls incomplete. Looking for Kevin Klein up over the 40-yard line. So the Dinos in an early punting situation.
Well, he has all sorts of time actually to deliver the football, and Klein is open. The ball is just thrown off a little bit to his right, and Kevin can't come down with that reception. He's the 2nd leading receiver on this football team with 20 receptions, 2 touchdowns.
And it's Brian Malachik standing back to punt.
Come on now, kicker! Come on, Dinos, baby!
Back at his 15-yard line. And it is a short kick. Barely gets to midfield. It's Corey Flaman just waiting for it, then picks it up and finds a little room across the 50 and up near the midfield stripe. Good field position for Brent Schneider to go to work. A 34-yard punt and an 8-yard return for Flaman.
Brent Schneider, a year ago in this game when they played the Canada West Final, he did not play. They had backup quarterback Rich Gabrook. But look at his numbers this year. He's getting back on track. We did a game a couple weeks ago. He only had 5 touchdowns and 10 interceptions at that time, but he's really turned his game around.
Gabrook, one of the heroes in that one, so too is Kerry Prokop, who's now a coach with the Huskies. They certainly missed him early in the year. The handoff for Doug Rosen, the first-year running back. He's been a big star of late and just gets across midfield, a short game. Offensive line, the story for Saskatchewan, Scott Flory. He is the only new guy this year joining brother Chris on that line. Look for Calgary to try to move Rob Richards, their strong defensive player, around on him.
Doug Rosen, the freshman this year, filling in for Maury Norriston at that running back spot. And Derek Malinchuk, the leading receiver on this Husky football team with 32 receptions.
2nd down, 8 yards to go for Schneider, and Saskatchewan rolling to his left, looking deep and firing down about the 40-yard line, and it is complete for a first down for Saskatchewan. Derek Malinchuk, who has emerged as the top receiver on this team.
Derek Malinchuk runs a deep out against Patrick Hardy, but take a look at the time that Brent Schneider has. Sits, waits, now he drills it. Nice job to come back to the ball. See Rob Kidd in the coverage and Dan Jeremiah.
He is
fired up.
A gain of 18 for number 18 and a first down inside Calgary territory, about the 36-yard line for Schneider and the Huskies. Hands off, big hole up the middle for Doug Rosen. The draw works to perfection. Down to the 26-yard line of Calgary.
Well, it's interesting what Saskatchewan are doing now offensively. This is something that Calgary has not seen this year. They're going 4 receivers to one side. Now they run the draw, and you can see they pull the tackle. He kicks out. And what a nice job by Doug Rosen to get upfield. So what they're doing is they're isolating the corner on the back side, and they're being able to want to run the ball back that way too, because everybody's overcompensating for those 4 receivers to the wide side of the field.
Last year, Doug Rosen played junior football for the Vancouver Island Sharks, and Brian Towers was looking for some big things from him as they looked to see if Rosen got the first down yardage, just shy by about 6 inches. And Rosen has delivered. 2 weeks ago had his big game we had here on TSN against Alberta, 3 touchdowns.
Well, Calgary really has to be aware of Doug Rosen because he also has the longest pass reception in Canada West this year, 79-yard touchdown pass, and the longest run, which is 78 yards. So he has got great speed. He's the fastest player on that University of Saskatchewan football team.
And the one thing Brian Towers wanted to do with Doug Rosen, not only carrying the football, they like to pitch to him a lot as well, but throw him the ball. And we saw that in the Alberta game, the long run after the reception, but Saskatchewan loves to throw that ball, and what a valuable asset he would be as a receiver as well. So it is second and very short. A little more than the nose of the football. About 6 inches, actually.
397!
And Schneider keeps himself and looks to have the first down around the 25-yard line of the Calgary Dinos.
If you're Brian Towers, you have to like this kind of drive, because now what they're doing, they're throwing the ball effectively at all sorts of time, then they can come back and run the football right now. It takes a lot of pressure off of your offense.
The defensive line for the Dinos, the key guy, Rob Richards, who is the nominee for the J.P. Metras Trophy as top lineman in Canada.
Linebackers Jody Bednarik, he's filling in today for an injured Mike Nightingale.
Schneider pitches out to Rosen. Can't find much room. 2, maybe 3 yards for Saskatchewan. Doug Rosen will be very busy today, like we expect to be talking a lot about Don Blair, this guy as well.
A lot of changes in the secondary, but Patrick Hardy, he's the all-conference corner, along with Phil Schnell on the inside. Bob Kidd back starting in for the first time after being out with an injury.
Second down, Saskatchewan.
Second down, about 8 yards to go once again for Saskatchewan. This drive began just inside their territory, right around midfield. But they are moving. 3 men wide left, and that one is not much of a chance for Jason Field, and thrown behind him for the incomplete pass, so sets up a field goal situation.
I'll tell you what, if he hits Jason Field and Fielden walks into the end zone, they're in man coverage, but nobody picks up Jason Fielden as he goes out into the flat. And that's the case, I think, when Brent Schneider saw he was so wide open, wanted to get him the ball so quickly, just didn't quite get his feet set.
Bit surprising to see them throwing to Fielden. Maybe that explains why he was more wide open. Fielding used more as a blocking back, doesn't even carry the ball very much for Saskatchewan. Easily within Greg Moe's range, his longest 44 in the season. This one from 30 yards out, and it had the distance, but it was wide. And so Saskatchewan gets on the board, not the way they'd like to. Instead of 3, it is 1 point. And now let's head to a CIAU update. Here's Darren DeTisha.
Hey, thanks very much, Rod. We're going to start with the Yates Cup there. Now, the #1 ranked team in the nation, Laurier Golden Hawks, at home to Western this afternoon. It's a very tight football game thus far. We'll pick it up in the second quarter. Laurier leading 4-0. Warren Goldie to Sean Reed. He takes it in. Stangs on top, 7-4. On to the Dunsmore Cup. Ottawa and Queens, not a lot of scoring in this one. Paul Coryell gets stripped of the ball. That sets up a GG's field goal. Ottawa now leads it 7-3.
Back in Calgary, the Dinos starting on their own 35 after the single, and that one is dropped by Kevin Klein up at the 40-yard line. So Saskatchewan gets on the board. I guess a good news, bad news scenario in that first drive. They're moving the football. They probably feel they should have had 3 points there.
No question about that. I mean, Calgary's the type of team that you have to make sure that you put the ball in. Kevin Klein, that's the second time that he's dropped the ball today. That's just not his game right there. He's usually a sure-handed receiver. But again, you know, he's been out with an injury, and sometimes it's tough to come back after a couple of weeks. Try to get your game legs back and the feel again of going down the field and making the receptions.
20 catches, 245 yards in the season. Second leading receiver for Calgary behind Blair. And this time Aston airs it up looking for Blair, but the coverage is good. The ball floated a bit and falls down just inside the Saskatchewan 40-yard line with flags on the play.
And Jason Aston just got rocked by Michael Milo, the outside linebacker.
And Aston was slow to get up in the play. See what this flag is about.
I think it's roughing the passer.
Unnecessary roughness. Roughing the passer, number 46, Saskatchewan. First down, Calgary.
A good break for the Dinos, picking up some first down yardage on the penalty route up at the 50-yard line as we see it here, Jamie.
To the bottom of your screen. Now the ball, 1, 2, 3. Throw them in the back. You're going to be flagged every time you do that.
One thing Saskatchewan wants to do is rattle Aston. I don't know if they necessarily mean it that way. They hand off inside. A gain of about 5 yards for number 37, Chris Lewis. One of the leading rushers in the CIAU this year. 5th in the CIAU. The defensive line, Joe Saul, the key for the Huskies. An all-star once again with 5 sacks this year. Half as many as last year, but so many people love to key on him. Linebacker Steve Cornish back in. Missed most of the season with a back injury, but he says he is 100% and pretty keen to play. Passing, looking to pass again. And he has Klein for first down yardage up at the Saskatchewan 50-yard line.
Nice job that time by Kevin Klein, going down just deep enough to know he gets the first down. Aston looking right, doesn't like what he sees, comes back. That's a good read by Jason Aston to come back like that.
First down.
Secondary anchor by Sean Grant, the all-conference corner, and of course Aggie Georgakakis. We talked to Brian Towers, and he said if they start getting it to Don Blair, look for us to put Aggie Georgakakis man-to-man on Don Blair, try to bang him at the line of scrimmage. We'll put an extra defensive back in so he could be a key football player in this afternoon's game.
Georgakakis not as fast as Blair, but they need his physical presence. Hit Blair at the line of scrimmage, preventing him from getting much yardage. It's Chris Lewis. And he finds some yardage on the right side. About another 5 yards for Lewis. He was averaged 5.7 a carry this year, 159 carries for 899 yards during the regular season.
Good tough run by Chris Lewis. This is just straight toss. You see they lead with the fullback, Gene Stahl. Warren Mazika comes across and almost makes the tackle, but look how strong Chris Lewis's legs are. Keeps him moving all the time, keeps his shoulders up the field. He breaks the tackle, Mazika. Now Milo hits him, bounces off. And then Mitch Barber has to come in and wrap him up.
Lewis and Don Blair, 2 of the 7 starters in this game that were there in the 93 Vanier Cup against Toronto. Action to throw again. And this time, off the fingertips of Ryan Carruthers, falling down for a 3rd down and 5 for Calgary.
And nothing more frustrating for a quarterback, especially in a big game, when you're throwing the ball pretty well. That's a great pass. Ryan Carruthers has to come down with those. Nothing more frustrating for a quarterback when you see guys dropping the ball.
2 drives for the Dinos, and Don Blair has not been much of a factor. Interesting to see how that develops throughout the day. As Calgary, for the 2nd time, is in a punting situation. Brian Malachik back at his own 50-yard line.
And it's interesting, Don Blair is one of the up-backs in that punt formation, so if they have any gadgets, he might be the guy to go to, just to the right of your screen.
Might be the time to do it, but they won't. He kicks it away from midfield. Once again, not a great boot. Taken down at the Saskatchewan 15-yard line, with the Huskies leading it on a 30-yard single. It is Saskatchewan 1, Calgary no score. This one in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, the Atlantic final. The Acadia Axemen, 6th-ranked team, leading St. FX 13-8. The winner will host the CWUAA winner next week in Halifax for the Atlantic Bowl. Here in Calgary, it's 1-0 for the Huskies, who are starting deep in their own territory. Handoff left side. Doug Rosen pick up about 4 yards.
Trying to run the inside trap to take advantage of Rob Richards, who's a defensive lineman for Calgary, who's a Metris nominee. He is such a quick defensive lineman. He gets up the field hard, and you know, if there's anything that a defensive lineman is susceptible to when he's really quick like that, it's getting trapped. That's when they pull the offside guard and they kick him out.
Calgary had a Metris Trophy winner in Chris Conrad just 3 years ago, looking for another. Not on the mind of Richards, I'm sure, at this moment. With Saskatchewan on the field and looking for more yardage and finding it. Easily enough for a 1st down to number 76, Greg Meikle.
You know, I think Peter Cannellan and his staff paid Brent Snyder one of the greatest compliments yesterday. Said he's maybe the smartest quarterback in the nation. You know what? He recognizes instantly what's going on there with the coverage. Looked outside of the back. That was covered. Bang. He comes back inside to his tight end slot back, Greg Meikle.
Schneider's receivers, for the most part, catching the football. That has been Jason Assen's problem so far today. Some drop balls. 1st and 10. Huskies at their own 34-yard line. The handoff to Rosen again, left side. Once again, a pickup of about 4 or 5 yards.
Well, once again, they want to try and run that trap, take advantage of Rob Richards moving up the field. And, you know, after a while, Rob, what that does, it stops Rob Richards from coming hard on the pass rush. He's always afraid of getting picked off in that trap play.
Saskatchewan's made no secret about what their offensive strategy is. Once the pass, always the pass, but certainly they can keep Calgary's defense honest here with a good ground game, and they've had it. In this drive, gaining 4 or 5 yards and 1st down to this one, but a 2nd and 5 as Schneider looks to throw, looking deep down the right side, and it is no good. At the Calgary 35, intended for number 18, Derek Malinchuk.
An excellent coverage by Patrick Hardy. Interesting enough, Patrick Hardy played for the Okanagan Sun. So did Derek Malinchuk, the receiver here, both products of junior football.
A lot of products of junior football for Brian Towers and the Saskatchewan Huskies. And the Huskies will be punting. Greg Moe standing back at his 25. And Don Blair back for it. Interesting. One thing Brian Towers said is they don't want to kick it to Blair. He's a very dangerous returner. And he doesn't get it this time. It's Tarek Jayusi up at his 30 and finds a little bit more. A 45-yard kick, a good one for Moe, and a 7-yard return. The Huskies with the early lead and a slim lead. It's 1-0 in Calgary. Back at McMahon Stadium, Jason Assen. The Calgary Dinos will try to do it again. They had a decent drive last time out thanks to a roughing the passer penalty. But it's been a bit of frustration early on. Calgary, Don Blair hasn't got the ball much. It's Chris Lewis on the toss, right side. For a pickup of about 5 yards for Calgary.
You know, Chris Lewis could be a very, very dangerous football player. You know, he got his chance to start as a freshman back in '93 and took him to that Vanier Cup. What a great block here by Gene Stahl. Boom, right there on Mitch Barber. Now Lewis cuts off of that block and gets up the field. And, you know, a year ago, Chris Lewis had 395 yards rushing against UBC. That's his second highest total ever. His highest, of course, was Paul Bruley back in '66, 462.
2nd and 5, Calgary. Handoff once again. And up near first down yardage, but still short. Michael Milo into the tackle.
You know, Michael Milo, we saw him play a couple weeks ago for the first time, filling in for David Guthrie. You know, he really brings a lot. Look at this scrape across. Bang. That is just a great hit.
Chris Lewis with the carry once again. He's been busy. And Milo, they had to find a way to get this guy in. David Guthrie had been playing the weak side linebacker, but Milo has really impressed the defensive coaches, Jerry Friesen, this year. Punting situation for Calgary again. Brian Malachik at his 25. And another bad kick into the wind up around midfield. Saskatchewan will have to watch for no yards here. Corey Flaman taking it just across the midfield stripe. And once again, good field position for the Saskatchewan Huskies and Brian Tauris. When we come back, trying to build on that 1-0 lead. During the regular season, Brian Malachik's punting average was 32.1 yards, but he's having a tougher day, averaging 29. That last one, Jamie, going only 17 yards.
And that has to be a concern for Peter Cannell. You can see he was talking to his young punter. That field position is so vitally important in big games like this.
For 3 drives out of 4 in this first quarter, Schneider and the Huskies have enjoyed great position. They do this time. And they try running the ball, but nothing doing this time. Doug Rosen is stuffed. And a very short gain, or no gain at all. That's actually Jarrett Rennie, number 32, in for Saskatchewan.
Well, they try to run the inside trap, and actually Tony Banfield, the defensive lineman, was attacking Doug Rosen in the backfield.
Fooled me.
Yeah, I think it fooled a lot of people.
I would have been out there tackling him. 2nd and 7, Saskatchewan. At the Calgary 50-yard line with a 1-0 lead. Just past the midway point, actually 3:42 left in this opening quarter. Schneider will throw. Strong left, and looking deep, and just overthrowing Derek Malinchuk down inside the Calgary 10.
Tell you one thing, Brent Schneider has a big-time arm. That was a great throw from one side of the field all the way over to the corner just before they get into the end zone. But just out of the reach of Derek Malinchuk. See, it would have been a tough catch.
And so Greg Moe is back. Malinchuk to the sidelines, and Moe will be punting. And should be hemming Calgary deep in their own territory.
And what has to concern Saskatchewan in terms of the return game, they have had 4 punts returned against them this year for touchdowns. They had 2 last week versus UBC, and they had 2 earlier in the season against Calgary.
As the punt is made, number 20, Don Blair, the dangerous guy, is in the lower part of the screen. You know Moe will be kicking it to the upper part of the screen. That's what Brian Tauris wants. Kick it to Tarek Jayusi or kick it out of bounds. Keep it away from Don Blair. Well, he kicks it short, but he kicks it in Blair's direction and out of bounds.
That's a great punt. A great punt by Greg Moe. Puts him out at the 5.5-yard line. No return at all. Dynamite job.
Hems Calgary deep. A 44-yard kick for Greg Moe.
This is great. Kicks it to the short side of the field, even though that's where Don Blair is aligned. But look how he takes a step. He's aiming right for the sidelines, going for that coffin corner. You can see the ball bounces right up, and then when Blair gets it, he's out of bounds. That is just great.
For everything that Don Blair did, the top punt returner as well, over 20 yards of return. So an excellent job by Greg Moe. Really a valuable asset, one of the nicest change for Saskatchewan this year. Huskies enjoying that first quarter win. Calgary fighting against it. This time running the football. Chris Lewis up about the 10-yard line. A gain of 5 yards for Saskatchewan. Trevor Fleischfresser.
I want to hear you say that name 3 times in a row.
Once is enough.
Trevor Fleischfresser, the only 5th-year player on that Husky defense. agricultural student from Easton, Saskatchewan, has 2 sacks this season. Not very big, you know, kind of the typical nose, 5'11", 235 pounds, just pounds it in there, play after play after play.
Tough to move. Normally lines up as a nose. This time off the nose a little bit. As Assen looks to throw, they got pressure. He'll take off, and he won't have the first down. Jason Assen gets it out to about the 17-yard line, but now they have to punt into the wind again.
Now it's just great pressure from Joe Saul. Last year Saul had 10 sacks. This year 5 sacks. You see the right of your screen. Joe Saul gets in there, flushes Assen out of the pocket. Good job by Brandon Leatherdale to try and get a foot, and then Steve Cornish comes in. Steve Cornish, of course, hurt with that back injury or that side leg injury all year long. Been nagging him, but he's back in the lineup. All-conference player a year ago.
One thing Brian Tower has said about the Dinos is we see Malachik punting again, this time inside his own end zone. Calgary's a momentum type of team. If you can get to them early and frustrate them, you can have a good day, and they're having that. This is a good punt against the wind. The best for Malachik. Chasing Corey Flaman out to midfield, and he doesn't go any further there. That is the big play for the Calgary Dinos, for a player that's had kind of a slow start today.
Well, I'll tell you something about him a little bit. You know, he gets off that horrible punt last time, and now he just booms one. And there's just nowhere to run. Calgary do a great job in their coverage. Look at all the lanes, how they're all filled. Everybody has got that responsibility. They have contained, they have filled. There's just no place to go. This is what Corey Flaman sees. Nothing, just a wall of red shirts.
And a Saskatchewan Husky is down on the field.
And I believe that is Corey Flaman.
Corey Flaman down, a 40-yard punt and a loss of 2 on the return. Big play for Calgary. Low spiral for Brian Malachik to get them out of a bit of trouble, although Saskatchewan will once again enjoy some excellent field position with 1:55 left in this opening quarter.
Oh boy, he takes that knee right in the head. Whoa.
Looked to be the knee of Ryan Carruthers, number 36 for Calgary.
And just to put that in perspective, Ryan Carruthers plays slot back for Calgary, but he's a big slot. He's 6'1", 225, and he's a big lower body. And boy, when he accelerates that knee into Corey Flaman's head, so it rings a few bells.
Corey Flaman had been a starter last year, started in the Vanier Cup for Saskatchewan. This year, though, lost his starting job to Brennan Pobel, certainly recently, but he's been a valuable asset, especially on special teams, and he would be getting in the game as a wide receiver as well.
And also a year ago in the same Canada West final in Saskatoon, I believe the score was 24-10 for Saskatchewan, and he caught a 63-yard touchdown pass to make the score of that game 31-10 and really put it out of reach for Calgary. Good sign that he's kind of up and he's...
Take a shot like that on the head, you ask all the basic questions. Make sure he knows where he is.
The official CIAU television network.
Gets hit here, but take a look at 36's knee. Boom.
Mr. Stubbins, official sponsor of the Vanier Cup.
Somewhat dazed Corey Flaman, I'm sure. Nice to see trotting off the field. And the Saskatchewan sidelines. So here comes Brent Schneider and the Huskies again. They have been able to move the football. They have not been able to finish it off. With a 1-0 lead, starting at midfield. Wanting to take advantage of this excellent field position. With the wind in the first quarter, the toss to Rosen. Nothing doing. They have him contained and they have him down for no gain right at midfield.
Well, Calgary doing a pretty good job. You know, they're coming right up. They're putting the 4 receivers to the left side. They're playing tight man coverage. They've got a lot of people close to the line of scrimmage. But a good job by John Calavini. Comes up, he's playing that outside linebacker position and just makes a great tackle on Doug Rosen.
Calavini has spent some of the season playing defensive back. Moved up to linebacker today. We see what Saskatchewan has to show for excellent field position for the most part in this quarter. Trying to take advantage again. Schneider goes to the air again and goes deep. And once again, incomplete, looking for Derek Malinchuk. That was inside the Calgary 20.
And it looks like Schneider's trying to pick on Bob Kidd a little bit because he has been out and he has had the injury and feel he wants to go after him. But really who broke that play up was Rob Richards. He talked about how important he might be, and he forced Schneider to throw the ball a little bit early and off balance. And great coverage by Rob Kidd. Had that inside position and just would not allow Malinchuk to get inside.
So the Huskies failed to take advantage again. Schneider 2 for 6 so far. And 36 yards, Greg Moe punting again. at his 41-yard line. We'll see how he handles Don Blair this time. Last time he kicked it to Blair, but out of bounds. He wants to keep it away from him. And he goes the other way. And Tarek Jayusi will take it on his 10 and drops the ball. And nowhere to go. Once again, the Dinos will be hemmed deep inside their territory. A 44-yard kick.
Yeah, both punters are playing such an important role right now in this football game. I mean, that was just a great kick as well by Greg Mull.
The way this game is developing, not unlike the playoff game we had last week with Bishops and Queens in the early going, punt after punt, $2 and a kick.
You know, and it's so tough right now because Jason Assett has had the wind in his face, and he's always been in the shadow of his own goal line, and it's really tough because it limits you in terms of what you can do offensively down here, because you have to be really careful that you don't force a turnover.
We have a final score from Wolfville, Nova Scotia. Acadia is moving on to the Atlantic Bowl, the Axman, 13-8 over St. FX. So Acadia takes on the winner of Laurier and Western in the Yates Cup. That game going on today as well. The Atlantic Bowl next Saturday, a game we'll have here on TSN. Assen hands off to Lewis. And the counter goes across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Pickup of 5 yards for Calgary.
And that's Calgary's offense. They like to run that toss, and then they fake toss. They run the counter. They pull guard and tackle from the backside. Let's see Harold Anderson and Ben Fairbrother. And then Lewis comes up, but again, you know, Trent Bagnall makes a tackle. Michael Milo coming in there as well.
St. Francis Xavier, 8.
Second down, about 4 yards to go. Good gain on the ground for Calgary. Trying to get out of their own territory. They've been hemmed in most of the quarter. And somewhat surprisingly, they try to do it on the ground again, and Saskatchewan will have none of it. And so the Dinos will be punting again from about their own end zone.
No gain on the play.
Yeah, that was just a great play by Saskatchewan's defense.
But the Dinos will be punting with the win because that's the end of the first quarter. The Saskatchewan Huskies with a slim lead, 1-0 over Calgary. Stuff the Dinos and their drive, and that's why they are punting. Brian Malachik just outside his goal line, and with the win this time gets a more impressive kick. Derek Malinchuk taking it close to midfield. Saskatchewan working against the wind. A 41-yard punt, but they have good field position again.
And you have to really wonder why Brian Towers at that time did not call the timeout prior to the end of the first quarter, because they would have forced Calgary to kick into the wind. Instead, he let time expire, and he's happy to keep his 2 timeouts for the first half. But I'd have to think that you'd want to blow one of those timeouts, force Calgary to kick it into the wind.
Good point. As it was another good punt, although Malachik's last one into the wind was impressive as well. Saskatchewan, 1st and 10 on their 54-yard line. Schneider looking to get something moving. Offense has had a lot of trouble on both sides today. Complete pass up to the Calgary 50-yard line for the Saskatchewan Huskies. And number 16, Brennan Fobel.
And Brennan Fobel is a receiver that's really come on for the Huskies this year. He only had 10 receptions coming into this game, but they really like him. They thought he came on. He played for the Hilltops. A little bit older player. He's 23 years old, only in his first year. But nonetheless, has 2 touchdowns this season as well.
And 1 touchdown came on a missed field goal last week. He ran it 120 yards against UBC in Vancouver. Second down. 4 yards to go. Schneider rolling left, looking left, and finding Derek Malinchuk at the Calgary 30-yard line. First down, Saskatchewan.
Now there's a flag down, Rod, and I think this might be coming back. It's holding against Saskatchewan.
And another bad break for the Huskies, who look to be the team with momentum here in the early going, but have only 1 point to show for it.
Holding Saskatchewan number 21. Second down repeated.
And that's Jason Fielden, the fullback. Now Jason Fielden is responsible for the linebacker, and they blitz a linebacker. You can see coming up in the far left. Boy, I don't know.
A quick hold, if it was a hold at all.
I think he might have held his hand for like a fraction of a second.
Enough to get the flag out of the official's pocket. Saskatchewan will try again. Schneider trying to get it back, and he's got a man downfield. That is number 78, Jason Johnston for Saskatchewan.
What a great catch by Jason Johnson. You know, Jason Johnson's been a receiver at times, has struggled. Good play action pass, but boy, I'll tell you what, he comes down with a huge catch right here. Look at that. Wow, ball going away, goes up in the air and turns his body in midair and makes a dynamite catch. That is so hard to do. It's incredible.
That's what Brent Schneider was missing earlier in the season. Gain of 18 and a first down for the Saskatchewan Huskies. And a Calgary 42. Finds Malinchuk inside the 30 and more. Another first down for Saskatchewan over the Calgary 25.
Nice job by Saskatchewan. Put 3 receivers to the left side. Malinchuk's the outside receiver. They run the other receivers down the field. They cross Malinchuk underneath. Calgary are in that zone. And now he turns it right up the field.
Schneider's completed 5 passes, 3 of them for 18 yards. Another 18 for 18, Derek Malinchuk. Just down inside the 25. Saskatchewan with its best drive of the day. They got down to about this point before and had to settle for 1. They want more. Schneider looking for it. Now he's got a man. Touchdown, Saskatchewan. Brennan Fogle. And the Huskies are taking charge early in the second quarter.
What a nice read by Brent Schneider. You see they're in 3 deep zone coverage. It's Dan Jeremiah, the safety. Fogle breaks into that big seam between the corner and the safety. Jeremiah doesn't recognize it in time and doesn't get over there in time, and Fogle takes it in for 6.
Brennan Fogle's 3rd touchdown of the year.
And just nice body control as well. You can see why he is in there starting right now. Just goes up, turns his body around, makes a nice catch in the hands.
And Greg Moe puts it through for an 8-0 Saskatchewan lead. The Huskies finally hit pay dirt early in the second quarter.
Hey, Rod, you are not going to believe this one. The Ottawa Gee-Gees leading 8-3. The field goal attempt is wide. Paul Greenbow, out of his own end for the Golden Gales, breaks a couple of tackles, gets a couple of blocks, and he's gone. He will go the distance, scoring for your alma mater. But guess what? It was called back because of holding. Gee-Gees still lead 8-3 in the 4th quarter of play.
All right, thank you, Darren. Queen said the Gales liked the idea of a close game with Ottawa U, but still in the losing end so far. And the winner of that game plays the winner here, and the leader is Saskatchewan. And Greg Moe's kickoff, an 8-0 lead. And Tarek Jayusi has brought it out to the Calgary 27-yard line.
And the question that remains to be asked as we take a look at Brendan Fogle's touchdown. Brent Schneider, as receiver doing an out, and then the inside receivers doing that seam in between the safety and the corner. Nice catch. Yeah, he's fired up.
The Huskies certainly are. One thing about that loss earlier, when they got pounded in Saskatoon by Calgary, said the emotion wasn't there. It's a game that Calgary had to win. They were riding high with a record of 3-1.
Certainly there today.
It is in the early going. Hassan. Calgary trying to get something going. Chris Lewis to the right side. And a pickup of about 2 yards for the Dinos.
And this question has to be asked. Why is Calgary not getting the ball into their best player's hands, Don Blair? Have yet to throw a pass to him. He's only touched the ball once that I can recall. I think that was catching that punt out of bounds. They've got to get the ball into his hands. This guy is the best player in the nation. And you know what? If Saskatchewan can stop him, fine. But don't stop him yourself. Give the guy a chance.
It doesn't make sense in this early going. I mean, even the handoff, he has 3 carries for 66 yards in the season, and yet not carried it yet. Not been thrown. Chris Lewis, he's got room. He could go. If he had a little more speed, but they haul him down. Over the Saskatchewan 40-yard line for Chris Lewis. And the big play of the day so far for the Calgary Dinosaurs. 44 yards.
Watch to the right of your screen. Number 20, Don Blair, comes here and makes a good block on Joe Saul. Bang, and that springs him. And now Lewis turns on the Jets, but the fastest player in the defensive secondary is Mike Stewart, and he tracks him down. Here's Don Blair. Not only is he a good pass receiver, but boy, he gets in there and mixes it up with the big guys. Look at that job on Joe Saul. Dynamite job.
Helps spring the biggest gain for Calgary in this one. Finally, inside Saskatchewan territory, on the reverse to Don Blair. This is what we were talking about. But Saskatchewan has contained, and down goes Blair with a pickup of only a yard.
And, you know, that looks like just a nice little play. But I'll tell you what, Mitch Barber, if he does not make this play and what he does defensively, that play goes in the end zone. They see the slot back sweep coming around. Now Barber makes sure he always has outside leverage. He tries to string it out, string it out, string it out, wait for your help to come. And actually, if he didn't tackle him, they already had a Husky there to do it for him. I mean, that is good defense.
Big play for Mitch Barber. Calgary tries again. 2nd and 9. Throw it. And finding a man down at the 30-yard line, close to a first down for the Calgary Dinosaurs. Ryan Carruthers on the receiving end.
Nice decision by Jason Aston. They were trying to run screen to Don Blair, but Aggie Georgikakis had him sniffed out, and he's kind of baiting him. They fake it. You can see they bring out the guard. Now they have Don Blair out there to your left. Georgikakis is on him, so Aston comes off, and he hits Ryan Carruthers. It's a nice job by Jason Aston.
And it is 3rd and short for the Dinos, and no question at this point in the field, and this point in the game, it's a gamble worth taking. At the 30-yard line, they need, I'd say, even less than a yard here. And they pitch, and it's Chris Lewis. He's got it, and he's got more. Lewis down to the Saskatchewan 21-yard line. First down, Calgary Dinos.
Calgary getting that power I formation. They pitch the ball to Chris Lewis. Look at that. He gets right up the field instantly. And a good block by Gene Stahl. Kick out Joe Saul.
We talked about Calgary's offense, a momentum offense, a momentum team, really. And what a wonderful point for them to turn things around when it looked like Saskatchewan was gaining momentum. This has been a great drive.
Boy, good numbers so far for Chris Lewis. Of course, that big long one helps, but 7.9-yard average.
First down, 10 to go. Asset looks and fires. He wants a man in the end zone. Touchdown! Don Blair. They finally find him, and it's costly for Saskatchewan.
Boy, what a big catch for Don Blair in Calgary. Dynamite job. Aston puts some nice air under this ball. He's behind 2 defenders. Behind Trent Bagnall. See, what a nice catch. Gets that one right foot in bounds, and that's all you need. But this is the key. Throws the ball nice and high over the defenders. Look at that. What a catch. Dynamite. Trent Bagnall hoping that he's out of bounds, but no way. What a great football player.
Way to go, Donnie! Way to go!
So Mlachik once again to put Calgary to within a point. And with one drive that eluded Calgary for more than a quarter, the Dinos have said emphatically to Saskatchewan, this is not going to be an easy afternoon. The Saskatchewan Huskies lead, but it's down to a point. 8-7, 9-13 left in the half. Here in Saskatchewan, here in Calgary rather, 8-7 for the Saskatchewan Huskies. And what looked like a defensive battle has suddenly become offensive.
And I think what you have to be really impressed with Calgary is their ability to come back. It shows great poise by this football team. You know, things weren't going their way very well, and Saskatchewan were driving the football, and then to answer back with a touchdown of your own really kind of shows you what kind of character this team is made of.
And that's what Peter Cannellan in Calgary wanted to see, Don Blair getting the football. It was almost a mystery where he was in that first quarter as Mlachik kicks off with the wind, and a good kickoff it is, driving Rosen into his own end zone, and then Corey Flaman takes the ball and concedes the single point, giving us a tie football game. We're back to where we started.
I think that was a smart move by Corey Flaman, realizing that, boy, the last thing that Brent Snyder needs right now is to start a drive in the shadow of his own goal line, bring it out to the 35 and give him some breathing room and get their offense going. What a career this guy's had. I mean, you consider this year all the changes at receiver and running back and the frustrations he went through early in the year. You know, he really kept his leadership and his poise, and everybody really rallied around him.
As we heard, the winner of this game will host The Ottawa UGGs, congratulations to them, winning the OQIFC for the first time since 1980. First down and 10, Saskatchewan. Schneider handing off to Rosen. Not much doing, gets outside and tiptoes up the field and greeted rather roughly out of bounds. A late hit by the looks of things, although no flags on the field. Actually, there is a flag down there now.
Well, it shows you the kind of speed that Rosen has, because I'll tell you what, Chris Zaharko had that shut off, number 60. He's out of bounds. I don't know. I think he's trying to tiptoe down the line, getting that extra yard.
Unnecessary roughness. Calgary, number 12. First down, Saskatchewan.
You know what? You go over to your guy, Dan Jeremiah, your defensive coach, you say, hey, don't let the official take away your aggressiveness or enthusiasm right now. You keep playing like that. Because you know what? It's going to be the next time that he does something like that, and he doesn't do that, that Rosen tips down the sidelines and goes a long way for a TD.
It was almost exactly the same point of the field where Saskatchewan had roughing the passer call in the first quarter. This time Saskatchewan benefits from the calls. Rosen takes the top, and he's got some room outside, right side, could be gone. The 20, the 10, touchdown Saskatchewan. And the momentum that swung back in Calgary's favor is back with the green and white again.
Well, we talked about what great passing teams these two teams were. We're really getting a display on how they can both run the football very effectively. First Chris Lewis, now Doug Rosen. The pitch outside. What a great job there by Chris Bell. Boy, does he make a great block. And now Rosen just sneaks in, and now great block by the wide receiver. And now it's a foot race. He's the fastest guy in that Huskies team. He's taking it all the way.
56 yards for Doug Rosen. And it certainly helps Saskatchewan forget about Maury Norston, their fine running back last year, with the convert good, and Saskatchewan ahead again, 15-8. The Huskies with the lead with 8:26 left in the half.
This is how the Dunsmore Cup concluded. The Golden Gales down 8-3. Bo House, he'll throw up a prayer, but it's picked off by the GGs. They hang on to win it by a score of 8-3. As you have mentioned, they're now off to the Churchill Bowl. Meanwhile, Laurier has jumped out to a 9-7 lead over Western. Back to you.
Thanks, Darren. Is it possible both our alma maters could go down on this game?
Maybe.
Greg Moe with the kickoff. And he will get it to Don Blair this time. Always dangerous. Blair out at his 30, and he breaks a tackle. And tries to break another out to the 40-yard line. Boy, Don Blair makes the most of every time he touches that ball.
Take a look at the touchdown run toss. Chris Flory, number 61, gets a great block here. Great bang right there on Kidd. And that just springs Doug Rosen. Once he gets through there, gets another good block by the wide receiver and then turns on the Jets.
And Rosen, without question, the fastest guy on the Huskies team. Brian Tauris was talking about the fact that he didn't really have a lot of speed this year. Had a lot of guys under 5 seconds in the 40, but all at 4.99. Rosen at about 4.45 speed. Pays off there once again. Calgary first down. And look who it is, Don Blair, taking the pass and taking it out across midfield for the Dinos.
Once again, we were surprised we didn't see any of that in the first quarter. Now they've kind of woken up and they decide they're going to try and get the ball into his hands as much as possible. Good move by Calgary. Again, they swing him out this time. That's why it's so difficult to try and play him man up and bang him at the line of scrimmage, because they put him in so many different places. And you can see how dangerous he is. Boy, when he just gets a little seam, he just explodes into it.
I was talking about there could be a lot of points this day. I thought I'd be eating my words after the first quarter, but things are opening up now. And another drop ball for Jason Assen. This time number 36, Ryan Carruthers.
Well, one of the things when Jason Assen takes that three-step drop, you know, he's looking into Joe Saul, who's one of the tall defensive ends. Joe Saul, 6'4", 202, puts his hands way up. That's why the offensive linemen are supposed to try and cut those guys to give quarterback a view downfield.
Helps when quarterbacks are tall too, Jamie.
Sure does.
Passing back to fire. And the flags down, the incomplete pass at around the Saskatchewan 45.
And I believe they're calling Steve Cornish on interference against Don Blair.
And it is against Saskatchewan.
Everybody's so aware where Don Blair is on the field. If you fail to know where he is, you do so at your own peril. Steve
Illegal
Cornish.
contact on eligible receiver, number 47, Saskatchewan. First down, Calgary.
That was not Steve Cornish. That was Warren Musica, the other inside linebacker. And nonetheless, they're trying to let Don Blair know that he's in. Left side of your screen. And you can just see he got his hand on his face.
So it gives Calgary a first down at the Saskatchewan 45. The Dinos moving again. And looking over the middle, tipped away and nearly picked off for Saskatchewan.
Warren Musica coming up with a tip. Good defense, gets back into his drop, number 47, now puts that right hand up. Boy, that's good defense. That is good defense. Wow. You know, he doesn't do that, that ball is going to be caught. It's Brett Campbell who is the intended receiver.
2nd and 10, Dinos. And Assen looks about 10 yards down and has the first down. Ryan Carruthers to the Saskatchewan 28-yard line.
Jason Assen showing the kind of veteran he is, showing great poise in the pocket. Not worried about that pass rush whatsoever. They've been doing a good job. People up front keeping people off of him today. Play action pass, holds those linebackers. Nice job. Nice delivery. Ryan Carruthers out of Crescent Heights Secondary School, coached by a wide receiver that used to play with me, Peter Logan, back in the 1970s.
Saskatchewan trying to take Don Blair away. Calgary's using its other weapons, such as Chris Lewis, who's had a big day on the ground but fumbles it. And Calgary gets it back. A big break for the Dinos down around the 15-yard line of the Huskies. Thanks to Ben Fairbrother. You see Lewis giving him a pat in the back.
See, once again, Warren Musica comes in and tackles the football. Trent Bagnall jumps over the ball, but you can see Calgary really aggressive. Ben Fairbrother coming up with the fumble recovery.
So first down. It's been back and forth. Momentum swings. Calgary looking for a touchdown to tie this game. At the 15, Assen could take off. He's got nowhere to run. Gets a block and gets knocked out of bounds for a short gain. And a rough ride out of bounds.
Hey, Jason Assen, not known as a running quarterback, likes to sit in the pocket and throw. That time he gets flushed out, but does a good job of not throwing the ball up for grabs. It's a pretty good move on Warren Musica, but then takes a big shot from Mitch Barber. Wow. That's right. You know, if you're going to call a late hit on the other one that Jeremiah made on Doug Rosen, you got to call that one.
Second down, gain of 3, so 2nd and 7 for Calgary. 12-yard line, Assen rolling right. Looks short for Carruthers. He has the ball, but he is nowhere close to a first down, another couple of yards. So a field goal situation for Brian Mlachik and the Calgary Dinosaurs, trailing by 7, looking to cut that lead to 4.
3rd down, Dinosaurs.
Good defensive stand by the Huskies. Now Mlachik comes in with a 74% he's hit on 14 of 19. Longest being 44 this year. I think he is yet to miss inside of the 20.
Both kickers today very reliable, even inside the 30-yard line. And Greg Mose, Saskatchewan hasn't missed inside the 30. And both their longest of the year, 44 yards. This one from 22. More of a chip shot for this lefty. And he chips it right on through to cut this lead down to 15-11. The Saskatchewan Huskies maintaining this lead now with another CIAU update. Here is Darren Detition.
Hey, thanks very much, Rod. It's a field goal kind of day. The Western Mustangs had a 2-point lead until Trim O'Leary hits this 29-yarder in the 4th quarter, his 2nd of the game. Laurier has now jumped out in front, 9-7 in the 4th.
Thanks, Darren. The winner of that game to go to the Atlantic Bowl and take on the Acadia Axemen, who defeated St. Francis Xavier earlier today in the Atlantic Championship in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. And the winner of this game will host the Ottawa UGGs in the Churchill Bowl. Next Saturday, both games to be seen right here on TSN. We're with you the rest of the way through the 31st Vanier Cup at Skydome, November the 25th. And the whistles go before Schneider can get the ball off. Procedure, perhaps.
Yeah, delay a game.
And so Saskatchewan will start this drive.
Line violation, number 19, Saskatchewan. First down repeated.
5 yards further back. An unhappy Brian Tauris looking on.
Let's go!
First and 15, Saskatchewan. There have been some great momentum swings, scoring in just about every drive of the second quarter with 4:42 to go until halftime. The offense has been picking it up. And Schneider on the draw, and nothing doing. I believe that was Jarrett Rennie again, and he is stuffed.
And what a great
Saskatchewan.
And a nice job by, sorry, Rod, nice job by Rob Richards, number 54. Comes in, waits the quarterback, and then he closes down hard on Rennie. Nice job. You know, before they heat up that pass rush, they make sure the quarterback is by that back, and you can see Rob Richards, he's an experienced defensive lineman in his 5th year. Waiting to make sure that Brent Schneider goes by him. When he sees it, he goes by him, but he does not have the ball, then he closes in on the fullback.
Looks like they lose a yard on that play. Second down, about 16 to go. Schneider, obvious passing situation, lays it up, looking for Malinchuk, but it falls short at the Calgary 40-yard line. Nothing doing there with 2 Dinos defensive backs all over Malinchuk.
Well, that's a big-time pass to throw into the wind.
And how much all over, Jamie? Take a look.
Third down, Saskatchewan.
Well, right there, the ball is underthrown, and Malinchuk can't get back to it, but that's pretty good coverage, actually, by Calgary. Jeremiah comes over. That's a big-time pass to throw it 50 yards into the wind. If you're going to throw that pass, Rod, you have to throw it earlier. You've got to throw it when the receiver's only downfield about 12 or 15 yards, and that way it makes it only a 40-yard pass.
In the first quarter, the busiest guys were the punters, but that has certainly calmed down with some nice drives here in the second quarter. Greg Moe standing on his 15-yard line, kicking against the breeze, which is getting a little stiffer now, and it shows. A short punt, but with a nice roll down to the 45-yard line, and Tarek Jayusik up around the 55. He gets collared down with flags on the field. Once again, another upkick. Here's Darren.
10 yards.
The lead has changed hands once again in the Yates Cup. It's McBride. He'll hit the field goal, giving the defending Vanier champions, the Western Mustangs, a 10-9 lead. They continue to play in the 4th quarter. We'll update it a little later.
Oh, and Jamie Bone is biting through the gloves. No nails left.
11, Calgary, blocking below the waist on the return. First down, Calgary.
So the Dinos penalized and taken back to their 36-yard line. Greg Moe, what an addition he has been. Last year, their longest field goal was 22 yards. They had only 3 on the year. Moe the Toe, as they call him, from the Saskatoon Hilltops Juniors, came in, and they gave him a kicking game again. Something that was a factor working against Saskatchewan last year, to be sure. Quick hitch to Tarek Jayusik, finds some room up the middle in first down territory up at the 41.
You know, one of the great things, too, about having Don Blair out there, and everybody's so aware of where he is, he almost becomes a decoy at times as well. Everybody's looking at Don Blair. Here's a good case in point. They run the hitch. Normally they run it to Blair, but look how everybody's moving out to cover Don Blair. Now Jayusik catches the ball and cuts it back inside. That's good play calling by Calgary.
Dinos showing better offensive balance than perhaps we gave them credit for. It has been so much Don Blair this year. And although he has a touchdown today, there are many other factors working for that Calgary offense. Assen steps in and will hand off to Lewis this time. He's got a big hole right side. Lewis is getting lots of yardage today up near the midfield stripe, but it is fumbled, and Saskatchewan takes over. So a huge break for the Huskies.
We talk almost like to run that counter. It's a good job. Chris Lewis being stripped again of the ball by who else? Number 47, Warren Muzica, did it earlier in the game. And they did not recover. Now he does it at this time, and they do recover. Big, big turnover for the Huskies.
Warren Muzica, not only tough and an excellent hitter, knows how to tackle and strip that football.
Father played at the University of Saskatchewan as well, and he's followed in his footsteps.
So the first turnover of the game, right at midfield. The Saskatchewan Huskies take over, leading this one by 4 points, 15-11. And 2:52 left until halftime.
And you know, an interesting point, Bob Lako, the head coach at University of Toronto, always said the turnovers are the things that really dictate the game. He said teams will score 40% of the time on a turnover, so they're so vitally important, and especially in a big game like this. Brent Schneider comes over and talks to Brian Towers to get last instructions. What they want to try to establish here. It looks like the run game's going pretty well right now. Boy, when you get that running game going as well as they have it going now, it really opens up the pass for you. Stops those people from rushing up the field, the defensive linemen. Keeps those linebackers at home.
Schneider had all kinds of targets last year, especially Kerry Prokop and David Blackburn. He really missed them, and I don't think he was coy at all about saying that. When we talked to him a couple of weeks ago before the Alberta game, he was not getting great receiving, but he is today.
And the only starter back from that group really was Jason Johnston, and we talked to Jason yesterday, and he said he'd like to just pass on to his father, Charlie, who has pneumonia back in Saskatoon, that he wishes him the best.
A lot of production, rushing and passing for Saskatchewan. A lot of it in this second quarter. The Huskies begin from the Calgary 54-yard line. The toss to Jarrett Redding. Finds some room and over the Calgary 50. Saskatchewan continuing to run that football.
You know, I'm impressed by Chris Flory. You know, he's the great big offensive tackle for Saskatchewan. 6'1", 290 pounds. But he can run. He can get out there and get onto those smaller defensive backs and create some seams for the running backs to get through. I mean, it's great when you're a quarterback and you come up looking at 2nd down and 5. Toughest situation in defense to defend.
Chris and brother Scott on the Saskatchewan offensive line. He's a brother tandem in Calgary's O-line as well, the Andersons. Schneider under pressure at the 50. Unloads and another great catch. This time it's Greg Meikle, and he is in for another Saskatchewan touchdown.
What a dynamite play by Brent Schneider.
49 yards.
And Rod, this is where experience comes into play. They run play action pass. He wants to go outside. It's covered. Now he's got to run. Wait, I'm not a runner. I'm a thrower. And he finds Greg Meikle. And what a great snag by Meikle.
And it bears repeating that one of the big problems for Schneider this year was receivers dropping the football. He's had no problem at all today.
And the incredible thing about that, Bob Kidd comes over to make the coverage, but because he thinks the ball's overthrown, he thinks Meikle has no shot. He's going for the pick. Meikle catches it, turns his body around, and gets into the end zone.
And another conversion for Greg Moe. And a bigger lead for the Saskatchewan Huskies, now up 22-11 on Calgary.
But such great awareness by Brent Schneider.
Nowhere to go, and then the ball was thrown.
Brent Schneider. Now watch this. He's looking outside. No one's there. Good pressure. Now he says, I'm going to run it, but hold it. I'm not going anywhere. And he keeps his eyes up looking downfield to make sure that this kind of situation, if it arises, he can take advantage of it. And what a great catch by Meikle. Great body control to go up and get the ball at its highest point. You can see Rob Kidd came over thinking the ball's overthrown, puts on a good move, and he gets into the end zone. And, you know, you're a defensive lineman, and you're sitting there saying, you know, we had him. We almost had him. And then you're burned for 6 points.
Nothing more frustrating to get burned like that. And Saskatchewan's offense has been burning hot in the second quarter after holding a 1-0 lead. After one. Greg Moe will be kicking off into the wind. You see Tarek Jayusi and Don Blair back again.
You see they stand together because they don't want Greg Moe to know which side they're going to go. At the last moment when he's running up to the ball, they'll run to either side. Good numbers for Brent Schneider. 7 of 12, 148. Usually they throw more than this at this point in the football game, but boy, when you get the running game going like it's going right now, you keep working it.
Well, considering at quarter time he had only 2 complete passes, things looking up for the green and white. With this kickoff, it is short into this stiff breeze. Don Blair will take it at his 20. And look at Don Blair go. He has the room easily over the 40-yard line. He's been averaging about 20 yards a return in both kickoff returns and punts, and he does make it look so easy.
He just plays with so much confidence. You know, it's fun to watch him. I mean, here's a ball that's kicked short, and he just sticks out his left hand and, you know, snags it with one hand and then goes up the field.
So the call is coming in again to the Calgary Dinos and Jason Assen and Don Blair. Their last drive led to a field goal, but to keep pace with the Huskies, they need a touchdown. Saskatchewan. That offense has been rolling in the second quarter. Calgary's has been good too, but they need more. And that one really knocked down by Mitch Barber. Intended out there for Kevin Klein on the left side.
Well, they were playing 3-deep coverage, Saskatchewan there. I think I might have fooled Jason Aston. I think he thought they were in man coverage, but they were in zone, short zone. Mitch Barber, he just flies out there. And that ball is thrown a little bit lower, and that could have been 6 points.
Second down, 10 to go. Calgary Dinos at their 40-yard line. The backfield clears. Aston will throw. First looks left, then goes back right, and wide open is CWUAA at the Saskatchewan 50-yard line once more. And they gang up and finally take him down, but not before another big gain for the Dinos, about 20 yards.
Well, you've heard teams talk about playing loose zones. That's just a little bit too loose. They get all the backs out, and Aston runs to his right, and then CWUAA just goes down the field and turns around about 10 yards, and Aston throws the ball all the way back across the field.
20 yards to gain, 1st and 10, Calgary. Inside Saskatchewan territory, the 50-yard line. Pass and play action. Looks left, under pressure, Joe Saulhafen. The sack leader for the Saskatchewan Huskies, one of the finest in the country, brings Aston down at the 49. An 8-yard loss.
Tell you what, there's a case in point right there. They're looking at Kevin Klein. He's looking at him all the way, but watch Musica downfield here. He's on him, so is Mitch Barber. That's great coverage. That's a coverage sack right there. He's looking at Klein. Klein's not there, and you know, Aston makes a good decision here. Don't throw it up. Don't make a bad mistake right now.
Especially being at midfield. Lots of room to get it back. That's actually a 6-yard loss and a 2nd and 16 for Calgary. Aston, more play action. And looks deep this time. Tries airing it out for Kevin Klein. Overthrown down at the Saskatchewan 15-yard line.
See, this is the kind of game now that Calgary does not want to get into, is throwing the ball deep, because Saskatchewan's defense, in the last few years that we've seen them, they'll give you that underneath stuff because they force you to be patient. If you want to be patient and drive the ball against them, they think that's the kind of way they want to play. But they like to play that deep zone, and they like you to throw it up, and then they try to be opportunistic and pick off those balls.
This time, no points for Calgary on this drive. And they'll be punting. Brian Malachik at his 40-yard line. Gets a pretty good one away with this breeze, chasing Corey Flaman back inside his 10-yard line. And Flaman, who was injured earlier in the game, back in there, his first return since. And there was a lot of pressure, Jamie, on Malachik for that play.
This one was almost blocked. They had a seam right up the middle. Actually, it's Sean Grant. Just misses it. But a good job by Grant. You know, he went to where the launch point was. He didn't hit the kicker at all. If he wasn't going to get it, he wasn't going to rough the kicker.
The Saskatchewan offense has really come alive here in the second quarter. Time winding down, 1:12 to go in the half. Huskies with an 11-point lead, 22-11 starting out. And their 16-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground. And pick up about 4 or 5 yards for Jarrett Rennie, number 32.
There's Calgary calling a timeout. We want to try and stop them here, force Saskatchewan to pass in this situation, and maybe if it's incomplete, stop the clock and get the ball back for one last chance to get into the end zone before halftime.
Peter Cannellan, one of the most successful coaches in the CIAU national championships in 1983, 85, again in 88.
Standing beside him with the headphones is defensive coordinator Tony Fasano, former player at McMaster University, came to this program in 1986 and became the interim head coach in 1991 when Peter Cannellan took a sabbatical and spent some time at the University of Nebraska.
Fasano talking things over with linebacker Jay Kleinsasser. The Atlantic Championship in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, the Acadia Axemen, with so many great years in the 70s, early 80s, back to the Atlantic Bowl to face the Ottawa U GGs. Actually, I'm sorry, Ottawa U will be in the Churchill Bowl. They'll be facing the winner of Western Laurier. Ottawa U winning for the first time since 1980, moving on to the Churchill Bowl. And it is 10-9 Western, still the score in Waterloo, Ontario in the fourth quarter. So Western can hang on. It'll be Western Acadia. Memories of some great matchups, I'm sure. About the 20-yard line for Brett Schneider, 2nd and 6. And he fires over the middle, and it falls short for Jason Johnston, who takes the pop anyway.
Well, this is the kind of situation Calgary wanted. Now they'll get the ball back. That stops the clock, and they should get the ball back with just under a minute left to go. And the half in pretty good field position, too, I would imagine, because Greg Moe will be kicking into the wind. And it looks like Calgary now are content to have 2 people back to return the punt. They're not going for the punt block. They're going for the punt return.
And
good average.
Excellent average for Moe, and why not look for the return with Don Blair standing at his 50. If they can get him the football, Moe has been very conscious under the orders of Brian Towers to keep it away from number 20. He is a very dangerous punt returner. But he will get it here. Actually, Tarek Jayusi does at his own 50. And he gets up to midfield. So Saskatchewan still following those orders very well of keeping it out of Mr. Blair's hands. 40-yard kick and a 5-yard return for the Dinos.
Situation where Jason Assen wants to try and get his lightning offense together. I'm sure you'll see them go with no huddle. Remember now, the clock only stopped. Only 2 catches for Don Blair this afternoon.
One of them 21 yards for a touchdown.
But he's like a stick of dynamite. That guy's just ready to explode at any time.
First down from midfield. Assen passing and finding a man down for about a gain of 8 yards. That's Brett Campbell. Calgary's not out of hope yet with 47 seconds to go to put more points on the board. Down by 11. Clock ticking to halftime. Assen throwing again, looking for Ryan Carruthers, and he cannot make the catch. A little far ahead of him.
Now, this creates a real dilemma for Peter Cannellan. You know, he's got 41 seconds left on the clock. It's 3rd down and 2. Does he go for it here, or does he punt the ball away? It looks like he's going to go for it. He's putting in some of the bigger guys. They're probably going to get in that power I again, and they'd like to run the toss out of that or off tackle. But this could be risky. I mean, Greg Moe can hit it from 47. He said he hit one at junior from 52 yards out. Now he's going against the wind, but nonetheless, this could be a big play.
3rd down and 1. And they'll keep it on the ground to Chris Lewis. First down, lot 4. The great afternoon continues for Chris Lewis, who gets it down close to their own field goal range at the 36-yard line of Saskatchewan.
Andy Kolacek, the left tackle, does a real nice job. They come down hard inside. You can see they lead with the fullback. They also bring Harold Anderson around as well.
1st and 10, Calgary. Moving the ball in Saskatchewan territory, and Don Blair with a great catch to take it out of bounds at the Saskatchewan 23, his 3rd catch of the afternoon.
Great catch and great awareness as well to know that, hey, listen, I'm not going to get stopped in bounds because the clock is going to continue to run. Nice job by Jason Assen throwing on the run. Just shoulder downfield. Look at this. Just snags it in his fingers. And gets it out of bounds. Stops the clock.
And what a good momentum swing it would be for Don Blair and the Dinos to pick up a touchdown late in the half here, trailing by 11. Assen will throw, and it is nearly picked off by Warren Musica, and a few other Huskies would have had a shot at it.
Well, Warren Musica has been playing great defense. He's been everywhere this afternoon. All he needs is a pair of hands sewn onto his jersey right here, because they hit some. Boom, right off the shoulder pads. Now, you know, in fairness, I guess, to those guys, they always have the coaches throwing them the balls all the time. They never have a quarterback throwing it to them. But look at all the people around the ball. Not a good decision by Jason Assen.
Could be a big break for Calgary if they can get it in, but nowhere is a Calgary receiver to be found near the Saskatchewan end zone. Mike Stewart of Saskatchewan, the closest guy around. The fall incomplete with 18 seconds left on the clock. And Calgary facing a 3rd down situation and looking for 3 points to go trailing by 8 into the locker room.
Well, that was the pressure of Saskatchewan's defense. Michael Milo once again in on Jason Assen, forcing him to throw the ball a little bit earlier. But remember, Jason Assen is the holder.
I'd be surprised if they tried anything funny now. 30 yards, very makeable, especially with the wind for Malachik. And it is wide. And talk about parallel events, Jamie. Greg Moe, from almost the same spot on the field, 30 yards away, missed it as well for the single point.
Well, left-footed kicker on that right hash just hooks it around. Boy, that's close, but official right there.
See the wind trailing off a little bit to the left, but I don't think so much a factor. And
thought he had it. Now he's got to cover.
And so the damage is a lot less for Saskatchewan as they will just run things out here, content with a 10-point lead to take to the locker room. 11 seconds to go on the clock. 22-12, the Huskies leading, and I would think they've got to be awfully happy with that, especially considering Calgary's been known for scoring more points in the first half.
I think they'd be very happy to go in at halftime with this kind of a lead, a 10-point lead against Calgary. They know how explosive that offense can be. But they still got another 30 minutes of football to play, and I guarantee you, we haven't heard the last of Don Blair and Jason Asson and Chris Lewis.
Now, the points were few and far between in the first quarter, but things have really picked up in the second quarter. Brent Schneider and the Saskatchewan Huskies quite content to head in at the half with a 10-point lead. It is Saskatchewan 22, the Calgary Dinos 12, the Hardy Trophy. It's the only CIAU football game of the day that is still undecided, and we're glad to be bringing it to you. Saskatchewan leading the Calgary Dinos 22-12 at the half. Now, the winner, of course, of this game gets to host the Ottawa UGGs. And some of these fans, I'm sure, in Calgary, hoping to be back here to see that game next week, but the Dinos have some work to do.
And not just that, though, Rod. I mean, the last time that a team from Ottawa came out here to Calgary, if Calgary can come back in this game and win it, the weather conditions were less than ideal. I think you have to go all the way back to 1985 when the Carleton Ravens came here to McMahon Stadium. And you tell the rest of the story.
Yeah. Actually, you know, and our friend Michael Landsberg could probably tell it better than anyone. He was here doing that game on TSN, and probably the coldest in history. It got to about -40, I believe, even worse with the wind chill. And they said they wouldn't, in this day and age, they would not play that game again. But Calgary went on to romp, I think, winning 54-17. And they went from there to win the Vanier Cup. Not so cold today. It's been nice weather and a nice day for the quarterbacks, in particular, Brent Schneider.
Yeah, I mean, just great right now, especially with 2 touchdowns and 149 yards. You know, that's close to 300 yards passing per game. And for Jason Asson, you know, he's doing a pretty good job right now, too. He's got 1 touchdown. He's directing this offense. I think what Asson's going to have to do in the second half is maintain his patience. They're only down by 10 points. It's not getting in a hurry. And I don't think you're going to see that from him. He's a veteran. He's been around for a while. He knows that, hey, we just got to keep chipping away, completing some passes. Because you know what Don Blair, they say, he scored 17 touchdowns this year. They say 3, well, count that one now, it's 18, but 4 were only in the end zone. All the other ones, the other 13 were when he caught the ball in front of somebody, he turned and broke it and ran into the end zone. So I think that's going to be their game plan. And you can see Don Blair coming out there now.
Well, how many times have you seen a case where there's one guy to key on, and the team is forced to use its other weapons, and you see how big those other weapons are, in particular in the first half. Chris Lewis, who really found some yardage.
Yeah, Chris Lewis has really been playing well, and that's a real indication, too, of their offensive line is doing a good job at the point of attack. And, you know, they get into that power I situation in 3rd and short, and they seem to bust it through for great yardage. And good blocking up front by Gene Stahl, the fullback. And Brent Schneider, of course, the veteran. His dad, of course, is an assistant coach with the University of Saskatchewan. Val Schneider was the head coach. And that's who Brian Towers took over from in 1984.
He was the Ted Morris Trophy winner in 1994, a losing cause against the Western Mustangs. The running backs, boy, it's been a great day for both, but there, look at the numbers for Chris Lewis.
Real surprise, you know, to me, coming into this game, I thought it was going to be an air show just based on the weather, but boy, both teams are really running the ball effectively. Look at that Rosen, 8.3 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Lewis, I mean, he's up there almost close to, you know, he's 9 yards a carry right there.
Rosen's yardage, a lot of it coming on one long run with some excellent blocking to give Saskatchewan control of this football game. The Huskies leading 22-12, playing for the right to host the Ottawa UGGs next week. And as you heard, it'll be the Western Mustangs taking on the Acadia Axemen in the Atlantic Bowl. The last time they met, 1986.
1986, I was coaching at Western at that time, and they had Paul Masadi was a big receiver for the Acadia Axemen back then. Now the Toronto Argonauts.
Of course, Jamie Bowen had some good games in the Vanier Cup against the Acadia Axemen. Peter Canella knows what the Vanier Cup is all about. got back in 1993 and lost a heartbreaker to the U of T Blues. Toronto blocking a Bruce Parsons field goal try in the final minute that would have tied the game and forced overtime. So both Saskatchewan and Calgary know what it's like in recent years to lose a Vanier Cup in dramatic style. Both are hungry to get back. And it will be Calgary against the wind starting off the second half. And they will have that win for the final quarter. And if it does pick up, it'll be interesting to see what kind of a factor that is if they can get to within a field goal. Underway and taken at the 15-yard line for Corey Flaman. And up near the 30, where Brett Schneider and the Saskatchewan Huskies will go to work trying to carry on with the great momentum that they've built in the second quarter.
And, you know, a special teams coach will tell you, anytime you can keep another team from returning the ball past their own 30, you've done a good job in kickoff coverage. And Calgary once again have done a good job. Brett Schneider starting from his own 28-yard line. But the wind is at his back.
From here on in, every game Schneider plays, he knows it could be his last. He has another year of eligibility, but it is pretty well certain, at least what he said, he will not be back next year. Wants the ring, and he hands off to Jarrett Rennie. Up the middle for about 5 yards as the pile continues to move and gets closer to first down territory. That's a gain of 7.
It's the kind of running you want from your fullback, and Jarrett Rennie, not the biggest fullback probably in the CIAU, only 5'10", 188 pounds, but shows just great strength here. Nice job protecting the ball, bounces off of that hit, keeps his feet going. That's a key, boy. You got to keep your feet going all the time. Don't stop.
Rennie lost, you see the split of his finger. He lost part of his finger in his own face mask. He got pushed up and part of it nipped off in a game against UBC several weeks ago. He missed 3 games. And nothing doing for Jason Fielden, who was stuffed. That was actually 2nd and 1. Rennie had picked up a lot in the previous play, but they did not get the first down. Some strong defense. Rob Richards up there for the Calgary Dinos.
I think that was Brian Shuchuk. What a great job he did. Now, this is his first year in his first game playing, but boy, he fires into that gap. Boom. Just takes him down. That is a good job. Shuchuk came to this team as a running back. He's 6'1", 255.
Big D for Calgary. 3rd and 1, and of course Saskatchewan at this point in the field will not take any chances. Inside their own 40. 36-yard line. Greg Moe. Be punting from his 21. Not much pressure, and not a bad punt. Once again geared away from Don Blair and towards the sideline. The strategy continues to work. Calgary has not had much by way of punt returns.
2 big receivers for both of these teams. Derek Malinchuk, of course, leading receiver for the Huskies. Only 2 catches for 36 yards, and Don Blair 3 for 52. Not what you would have expected today, but still we have another half of football left, and Don Blair, of course, with that 1 touchdown.
And the thing is with Blair especially, he can just kill you on 1 single play. He doesn't have to catch the ball an awful lot. He led in yardage and he led in touchdowns. Not in catches. The pitch is fumbled. It was low, and the Huskies have recovered. At the Calgary 21, a big break for Saskatchewan.
Now that's Ken Esslinger, who's in the football game, who fumbled that in replace of Chris Lewis, number 29. Tries to one-hand it. It seemed like the pitch was there. You got to put 2 hands on that one. Not a very good start for Esslinger.
And it
second year.
Brandon Leatherdale with the big recovery and a big break for the green and white.
Now I got to wonder, why is Chris Lewis out of this football game? I'm looking at him down the sidelines. He seems to be okay. That move could have backfired for Peter Canella.
That's the 16-yard line. Saskatchewan. Schneider looks to take advantage right away. Touchdown, Saskatchewan. Another touchdown for Greg Meikle, his 2nd of the day, and a beautiful catch in double coverage.
Now they're playing 3 deep here again. Schneider just that little pump fake. Now he tries to put it in between the safety again. You see Jeremiah coming over, and of course there's Patrick Hardy. but Meikle just goes up. It's jump ball, and he jumps them both. Look at that. Goes up to its highest point. Hardy comes down with his right hand, tries to strip the ball away, but great concentration by Greg Meikle.
My goodness, I don't know how big a disappointment Brent Schneider found with his receivers this season, but they are making up for it big time today. The Saskatchewan Huskies in control early in the second half, now leading the Calgary Dinos 29-12. Well, Brent Schneider can get the football to you. You just got to hang on to it, and that has been the case for the Saskatchewan Huskies. Greg Meikle with the catch, the touchdown, and now a commanding 17-point lead for the visiting Saskatchewan Huskies. Calgary, the return by JUC up over the 30-yard line to the 32.
Now, you know, Rod, I want to go back a little bit. There's Chris Lewis. He did not go into the football game. They put in Ken Esslinger. Now, Esslinger is a 100-meter champion in Alberta provincially. Maybe that's what Peter Cannellan was thinking about. Like, maybe we want to get the speed guy in there for one play or something. I don't know. But I tell you what, you have a guy with 100 yards in the first half, and he doesn't start the second half?
112 to be exact for Chris Lewis. A big part of Calgary's offense.
And Lewis is not in there at this time either. They keep Esslinger in there.
And they hand off again with some room this time up the middle. Up close to first down yardage at the 47.
Now, Esslinger comes into this game with some pretty impressive numbers. He's only carried the ball 19 times, but has 206 yards, 10.8 yard average, and nice vision by Esslinger to see everybody going to the left. He cuts it back across the right. Shoulders up the field.
Now, one thing, Lewis has had a great day, but I'm sure you'd agree the blocking up front for Calgary on the runs has been fabulous. They've opened up some big holes. Esslinger had one there. Nearly gets the first down. They just try to punch it through and renew things at the 45-yard line. Looks like they do have it. They do. First down, Calgary.
Well, it's funny. I just looking at Ken Esslinger again after that play, and they run quarterback sneak, and he's wearing a pair of gloves, and he just took them off and he stuck them in his pants. Maybe he's not used to wearing them. And the word is there is nothing wrong with Chris Lewis. They just decided to make a change. Maybe feeling that Esslinger gives him a little bit more speed. And you said, Rod, they're doing the job up front. Maybe they can break one here.
And they will run the ball again. Esslinger again, and he's got yardage again. Up to about the 50-yard line. Easily 5-6 yards on the play, so a little difficult at this stage of the game to argue with Peter Cannellan's decision.
No, this is a good way to come back, and they just keep chipping away at Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan's defense, as we said earlier, they're playing percentages. You can see they run that counter trap again. They bring Andy Kolachek and Sonny Laria. They're a toss team and a counter trap team. And Saskatchewan is just content to let Calgary try and chip away, thinking that somewhere along the point they're going to break down.
Call it 2nd and 3 for the Dinos. Play action this time. Asamoah setting him up. He's got a player. And he's got the ball down at the 20-yard line of Saskatchewan. They run the ball a couple of times successfully. They set up play action, and Don Blair is there.
Anyway, you have to wonder, where's Trent Bagnall, number 7? He's the safety. Look, he gets caught. Number 7's running now. He knows I'm in trouble. I'm in big, big trouble. You know, he knew instantly that, uh-oh, something's on. He was going with that run, got faked out, and then he turns, knowing that Don Blair is going to go to that area.
Calgary doing a good job of mixing things up now to take it down to Saskatchewan's 20-yard line, trailing by 17. It's early, but the Dinos have got to get points. And Esslinger. More yardage, more holes. Some good work by the offensive line down to the 11-yard line of Saskatchewan.
You love to run that counter trap.
See what he did in 1995. Sure, 19 carries, 206 yards.
Almost 11 yards per carry. 1 touchdown.
He's got a good average so far in this drive.
And his longest is 56.
The Dinos driving. 2nd and short. Esslinger again. Won't have the first down. Huskies get wise to him on that play and team up to bring him down. Joe Saul in on the tackle.
I'll tell you what. If you want to pick a defensive player right now who's playing great, it's Warren Muzik, number 47, the linebacker. I'll tell you, he sees it as counter trap, and, you know, it looks like this play's got touchdown written all over it, but he slides underneath right there. He forces him out, and then Joe Saul takes on the block of Harold Anderson.
And at this stage of the game, it is 3rd and 3, and there is no sign of Brian Malachek. The Dinos are going for it. With a full backfield. And the toss. Chris Lewis back in the game. Chris Lewis with the first down for Calgary. It'll be 1st and goal.
Saskatchewan failing to stop that power I pitch. Get a lot of folks out in front of the ball. Chris Lewis does a good job of getting the first down. Overload all to the left. Gene Stahl gets out there, turns in, makes a good block on Trent Bagnall.
And Lewis once again is out of this game. They stay with Stahl and Esslinger. And the backfield empty. And Assen will pass and rolls to his right and looks in the end zone. Don Blair, touchdown Calgary.
Huge play for the Dinosaurs. Had to come back and score after Saskatchewan took that big lead. They answered with one of their own, and of course, who do they go to? Their money man, Don Blair. Empty the backfield out. Jason Assen, good protection. And you can see he just turns away from Trent Bagnall and also Warren Musique out there. Hey, Warren Musique is a good linebacker, but I'll tell you what, I don't think he can cover Don Blair one-on-one.
Boy, did Calgary need this. The convert is good. Falling behind by 17 early in the 3rd quarter. What will the turning point be? Could be several. Stay tuned following today's game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Sony. The new Sony Handycam. Clearly the latest in video cameras. And there could be many turning points. So far, I thought that fumble, Saskatchewan recovered early in the 3rd quarter, went in for the touchdown and up by 17, but Calgary comes back.
It's a nice job by Assen, all sorts of time. You can see they control, do a nice job, and Joe Saul. Don Blair, I mean, he just makes everything look so simple. That is a tough catch. Ball's behind him, and he continues to spin and turns and catches the ball and then just turns like it's nothing.
And here come the numbers up around the 100-yard mark. You can't keep him down. Saskatchewan knew that, but this is hardly a one-dimensional offense. Boy, what a great blend of running and passing for Calgary.
Don Blair out of Notre Dame High School in Saskatchewan, born in Ottawa. Interestingly enough, his father to be head of security for the Prime Minister. And that would be topical this past week, of course.
Certainly would be. They might have been missing him this past week.
Said he wants to join the RCMP when he's finished university.
What a beautiful day and such a difference. The weather can turn so quickly in Calgary. Around the 0 mark, but it was so much colder last night when this game was supposed to be played. Many of us are thankful. The kickoff is short again into the wind. And it's taken by Doug Rosen with room up the sidelines. A good return for Rosen. Out around the Saskatchewan 50-yard line, the Huskies will once again enjoy some good field position, a 30-yard return.
And Don Blair and Warren Musique getting involved in it.
A few efforts to get out and play in that snow, I suppose. Pretty intense rivals. Ask anybody on either team, and I think they would say Calgary or Saskatchewan are the biggest rivals for each other.
You can see here's the end. Doug Rosen getting thrown out of bounds. Then Musique comes in and gives Don Blair a little shove. I think it was incidental. I don't think he meant to do it, and Don Blair took exception. But it's one of those things, when you turn around to fight somebody, you better see who it is first before you make that initial approach. Warren Musique is one guy I would not want to get tangled up with.
And make sure you've got protection on your hands.
That's correct.
Well, I guess that means you didn't get involved, right?
And objectionable conduct. Saskatchewan. First down, Saskatchewan.
Well, I never saw the sense in hitting anybody who had a helmet on.
Yeah, never take your helmet off. That's
Especially especially when it's a little bit cooler. Ends up hurting the hands more. Fred Schneider. First down. Saskatchewan. Huskies at the 39. Play action. Schneider is down. Rob Richards. And the momentum is swinging back towards the red and white.
You know, we talked last about what a great player Rob Richards is and how fast he is. This is just a straight bull rush, top of your screen against Chris Bell. He just bowls him right into Brent Schneider. I mean, that is just pure strength.
Last year in the Canada West Final, Chris Bell dominated Rob Richards. One thing Bell was saying last night, Richards improved a lot in the offseason, got faster.
And stronger, it looks.
Canada West nominee for the Metros Trophy. Schneider looks to throw and has Derek Malinchuk. Check that. That is Jason Johnston just over the 41-yard line. Gets some of the yardage back, but Saskatchewan will be kicking. You mentioned Jason Johnston, and in fact, really wanted us to say hello to Father Charlie, who has pneumonia, back in Saskatoon watching the game. And Charlie, we hope you're feeling better. As the sun moves, and now more of the field covered by shade.
It's a great average this afternoon, 42.5 yards.
Mo from his 32-yard line. And a nice low spiral. And Don Blair will take it.
Come on, Donnie.
And he makes the most of it. Near the sidelines, he's covered anyway, but he picks up some ground for the Calgary Dinos. They're trailing right now by 10 points, trying to get more. Saskatchewan by 10, but I'm sure the Huskies know all too well against this Calgary offense, 10 points means nothing. 7:17 left in the third quarter. Feeling lots of points are going to be scored.
I mean, think about this Calgary team that set a Canada West record for most points scored in the season. They're averaging 40 points per game.
And Aston will look for more. Little hitch up to Blair, and he's got room up in first down territory at the 47-yard line of Calgary. And the one thing about that, it was dangerous as well.
Here they run, they hitch, they reverse around with Aston. Now they hit. Look at that, just that nice, easy right straight arm, and Moore Musica comes over and makes a tackle.
Well, that one was nearly touched. Good job by Aston to throw it past the Saskatchewan defender, because had it been picked, it was a touchdown for the Huskies.
Now he's starting to get up there. 6 receptions, 108 yards, 2 TDs, and another first down. And you can see the gloves that he wears, Rod. Those are those glass cutter gloves that a lot of players in the Stampeders and I guess around the CFL are wearing, and it gives him the very good grip. Whatever works.
Many fine tools. Blair picking it up in this game, along with his team. The Dinos trying to get something going again. And that is Esslinger over the left side for short yardage for Calgary. Peter Cannella, not one for making comparisons. Some of the great teams he's had in the past. The one thing he would say, he would agree that Don Blair is one of the finest, if not the finest, athlete he has ever coached. And he's had some good ones.
Sure has.
Second down, 7 yards to go for the Calgary Dinos. Kevin Klein has got it, and he drops it. And they're saying
Mitch Barber picked it
off.
off.
Fumble and a first down, Saskatchewan.
Rod, I don't even think this touched the ground. I think he took it right out of Kevin Klein's hands.
See again, I thought that he caught it and dropped it, and then Barber picked it up.
He's trying to make the nice move here, and Barber comes in and strips him. Oh yeah, it did touch the ground. The officials seem to be a little uncertain whether or not that was an incomplete pass or a fumble, but definitely was a fumble. He caught it, tried to spin around, and Saskatchewan get a big turnover.
And the toss to Rosen, left side. Maybe one, and that is all. Good job by Calgary to string it out.
I'll tell you, Calgary recognizes so well the pitch. Let's take a look at the other fumble here. He's got control of the ball. Now it gets stripped away. Nice job by Barber and a good call by the officials.
Mitch Barber, another one of those players in junior football, played with the Saskatoon Hilltops last year. It is second down and long, about 9.5 yards to go for Schneider and the Huskies near midfield. Saskatchewan leading by 10 midway through the third quarter. And Schneider finds a man. Down in first down territory, Nathan Schellenberg in the game for Brennan Phobel.
And they run the quick in. They take a receiver out. They take Schellenberg inside. And does a nice job here to turn and get the first down.
A gain of 12 yards and a Husky first down.
Schellenberg has one catch, and that was for a touchdown before this one. That was against Alberta 2 weeks ago. So his second of the year. First and 10. The Huskies now inside Calgary territory. And flags are down. Rob Richards jumps, and I believe Calgary will be called on the offside.
Well, I could hear from up here. You could hear Brent Schneider give that.
Offside. Calgary number 54. First down repeated.
See right at the top of the screen right here, there's Richards now. When Schneider was hot, he jumps. Did a good job by the center to snap the ball.
Remember that always being told. You see a guy jump, don't worry about the count. Just snap it, you'll get the 5 yards. That's what Saskatchewan does. A first and 5 now. On the move. They run the draw to Jarrett Rennie. And he gets up over the Calgary 40 and closer to a first down. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Look, there's lots of room there, but 71, Jody Bednarik comes across and almost takes his head off here. Clothesline. Boom.
Bednarik in for Mike Nightingale. Dinos.
Nightingale, of course, was the starter, but developed some kind of bronchial infection. They weren't sure if it was because it was so cold here this week and he's out practicing or not, but he was a late scratch, and Jody Bednarik, first-year player.
Needs some D now. 2nd and 2. Saskatchewan. And that'll be a first down. Jason Fielden doesn't see the ball often. Wants to make the best of it when he does, and he gets Saskatchewan to move the sticks inside the Calgary 30.
Jason Fielden only had 10 catches this year, but that's a pretty key one for them. 3-step drop, gets it out into the flat, one-on-one with Greg Heisey. Does a nice job of turning the ball up and getting another first down.
Brian Tauris likes to use Fielden more for blocking assignments. An excellent blocker. There's a toss to Rennie. Finds some room up the middle, and now Saskatchewan with some great ball control offense and running the football very well.
Now, the reason they're able to run that play so effectively right now is because Saskatchewan are putting 4 receivers to that side. Everybody thinks Schneider's going to throw the football. Then you just do that really quick toss out there to Jarrett Rennie. Try to take that left tackle, and try to get him to kick out. And a good block by Jason Johnston on Jody Bednarik.
Calgary Dinos, while scoring 40 a game, have allowed 30 a game. Defense has been a problem for them this year. They need to stiffen up. They're down by 10, and Saskatchewan's on the move again. Schneider looking deep, but his man has fallen down. And that just headed into the end zone. Derek Malinchuk had no chance, tripping up around the 5-yard line.
And, it really didn't matter because they just weren't on the same page. Schneider thought he was doing a seam route or a 45-degree angle to the corner, and he thought he was doing it. He was doing an out. Tony Banfield, another one of these first-year players from the Victoria Hornets, junior football. I think there is a silver lining for Calgary in all of this. I mean, they have Banfield, a first-year player, Brian Shuchuk, a first-year player, Garrett Everson, a first-year player, Jody Bednarik, a first-year player, and John Colavini. Their front 6 are all first-year guys.
Here's a first-year guy for Saskatchewan, Greg Moe, a huge difference from 30 yards out. He missed one earlier from 30.
And he missed that one.
And he misses it again. 30-yard line's been a real problem for field goal kickers today. 3 of them missed. Saskatchewan improves the lead to 11 points, 30-19 in Calgary. With time winding down in the third quarter, the Saskatchewan Huskies hanging on to the lead, adding to it on a single, another one by Greg Moe, and a missed field goal, 30-19 for the Huskies. They said they don't mind playing on the road. The best games against Calgary this year have been on the road. They were blown out at home. Jason Assen needs to get something going, and he's had a lot going. Last drive failed, but the one before led to a touchdown. Here's Ken Esslinger. More room up the middle and a first down for the Dinos.
You know, and now you can see why they put him in the football game. He just has great breakaway speed. Number 29 in the backfield. Good block by Gene Stahl. Bang. He just explodes up through there. I like the way he gets, hit down. He bounces up, runs, sprints back to the huddle. Great enthusiasm.
Once again, it hardly seemed to make sense to take Chris Lewis out with the kind of production he had, but hard to dispute the call so far. Well, here's Gene Stahl. A beautiful fake by Assen, and that goes for another first down. Lots of room up the middle.
Now, Gene Stahl only had 21 carries all season long, so not used very much. A lot of teams say that Gene Stahl's like having another lineman in the backfield, but you can see what he does. Good job. They slide the ball into his stomach, and he tucks it away, makes a good gain.
Another first down for the Dinos, now inside Saskatchewan territory at the 52. Calgary's running the ball every bit as good as passing it, and they run it again. It's Esslinger again. Nothing doing this time. Picks up maybe a yard.
Good fill by Mitch Barber. That's his role. They run that counter trap again, and then he sees it and recognizes it. That's the key on playing defense a lot of the times, is being able to recognize what's going on and then to come up and take on your responsibility. He has full responsibility. Comes up and makes a big play.
2nd and 9. Dinos. 51-yard line of Saskatchewan. Down by 11. Assen rolling right. Can't find a man. Finally does get it away. Nearly picked off by Steve Cornish with flags on the field.
Yeah, they're going to say they held Don Blair, and I believe it was Aggie Georgakakis. Gave him the shove, grabbed onto his sweater.
And it is indeed against the Huskies. Good break for the Dinos here.
Illegal contact on eligible receiver, Saskatchewan number 10, Calgary, first down.
And I say good break only because it looks like they didn't really need to hold him with Cornish coming across.
Oh, you're right, exactly. Exactly. Not a lot of guys would like to be in his position today, having to cover maybe the best receiver ever, but he's up to the challenge. Look at this, yards rushing. Calgary 179 to Saskatchewan's 113. He just didn't expect this.
There's more rushing and more yardage. Ken Esslinger. That'll be another first down for Calgary. Well, Saskatchewan, they're keying on Don Blair, and the other weapons are definitely working.
You can see why it's so important that they have Harold Anderson back at that right guard position. They're really starting to power some people. And Ben Fairbrother, of course, the all-conference tackle. They like to run the ball right. Don Blair gets into it as well and blocking. Takes Aggie Georgakakis down. And Trent Bagnall has to come in and make the hit.
And that's what you like to see from Blair. He's balanced, knows the game so well, is so good at so many different things. When you get a guy that talented, it's just his skills alone, carrying the football, catching the ball, to be blocking the way he has been today as well.
Looking pretty good for Peter Cannell and putting in Ken Esslinger.
Every bit as much production at this point that Chris Lewis had. Here in the reverse to Don Blair. And he finds some room outside and down towards another Calgary first down. They'll be about 2 yards shy. 4 seconds, 3, the time winding down in this third quarter.
A slot back reverse. Looks like they've got some room there, but Mike Stewart comes up, gets that outside leverage, forces Don Blair inside, and Steve Cornish comes up with the tackle.
That was the kind of play you and I were wondering why they aren't running Blair more often. 3 carries all season, and he had 66 yards, 22 yards a carry.
And he's such a dangerous open field runner. You want to get the ball in his hands as much as possible.
2nd and 2 on the Saskatchewan Huskies. 22. Dinos driving again. The toss right side. Esslinger looking for that first down yardage. He gets close to the 20, and that's what he needed to do. It'll be very close.
You know, one of the key things you can tell a good back is that he accelerates on contact, and that's exactly what Esslinger does here. Just prior to getting hit, he just gives you that extra little, and he gets in there.
And things looking better for Calgary at 3-quarter time. Esslinger gets them close again. The Dinos trail by 11, but they are driving deep in Saskatchewan territory. We'll have the fourth quarter when we come back. Coaches don't want nail biters, but we do, and I think we could have it. 15 minutes to go. 11 points. The Dinos driving. They could cut it to 4 with a touchdown.
This
here.
game is still up for grabs big time. Third down and inches here.
Talk about your turning points. If Saskatchewan can stiffen up here, this would be a huge one. Aston keeps it himself, no problem. That's a first down, Calgary, and they'll move the sticks.
It was interesting yesterday, Rob, when we talked to Brian Towers about the way he saw maybe the flow of this game going, what he wanted. He said we wanted to get ahead and then try and force them to do some different things. So let's take a look at our third quarter stats. Yards rushing has to be the big one for Calgary. 199 yards. That is absolutely incredible. I would have never thought coming to this game they'd have more yards rushing than passing at this point in the football game. But turnovers got to be the big key, though. 3 for Calgary, none for Saskatchewan.
They don't want a turnover now. Number 4 would have to wait. I'm sure they're thinking. They fake the counter, and Aston looking into the end zone. There's coverage, though. Blair reaching up for it, and it's picked off. Trent Bagnall. And they didn't want the turnover, but they got it. The 4th turnover of the day, as we just showed you, this is the biggest of the day.
This is a great job by Trent Bagnall. You know, last time he got beat, it wasn't going to happen again this time to him. Covered it very, very well, right to the end of the end zone. Then he goes up for jump ball, and you can see he has perfect position. Blair's behind him. Now, Blair makes a great effort here to try and go up and get the football. But Bagnall just out-muscles him and brings it down. Nice job by Saskatchewan's defense. You know, again, patient, force you to drive the ball, then they try to hit you, and then they come up with a turnover.
Saskatchewan Huskies deep in their own territory, but thankful to be there. After what transpired, Schneider will throw. He's got Malinchuk wide open, and they're not hemmed in deep for long. He's out to the 22-yard line, and a first down Saskatchewan.
Well, that's a big play right there. Come back, throwing the football, just kind of throwing caution to the wind. And, you know, Schneider realizes that he's got to drive this football. Biggest story of the day so far, though, has been turnovers. Calgary turned it over 4 times, 0 for Saskatchewan, and that's why the Huskies have Huskies have an 11-point lead.
And they're on the move at the 21-yard line. Schneider and Malinchuk got them a little breathing room now. And he'll throw again. And he looks deep down the right side. The 20 yards deeper down, incomplete. Malinchuk is arguing this.
Malinchuk's saying that Patrick Hardy interfered with him. Now, the interesting thing is I'm looking over at Patrick Hardy, you know, and all quarterbacks take a look at defenders. Now, watch this. He trips. I could make a case there. That's pass interference. But Hardy is limping right now. He hurt himself somehow. He's kind of limping a little bit. I'm see if Schneider picks that up and tries to go back after him again.
Well, he will be passing again. Not too much question about that. A second down and 10 to go for Saskatchewan. Up at the 26, Schneider, and it's complete for a first down over the 40-yard line to Brennan Phobel.
Again, throws another nice strike to Brennan Phobel. This receiving core is really starting to come together. Boy, I tell you what, they're making some nice catches, nice read, looks them off left, then comes back underneath the Phobel. Now, Malinchuk, I'm sure, has probably come back into Schneider and said, listen, Patrick Hardy is limping out there. He's having some trouble. See if they go after him.
Malinchuk is off to the left side this time. They had 3 left and 3 right. The 6-pack out there, and it falls incomplete for Malinchuk. And first down yardage just across the 50-yard line. Brian Towers talked about how he was going to be using that sometimes, stacking 4 on one side, the quad, or else going 3
They call it their spread, where they put 3 receivers on each side and really try to spread out that defense and create all sorts of seams. But, you know, we saw Saskatchewan play 2 weeks ago against Alberta, you know, and they had struggled at times throughout the year where they dropped easy passes. But, you know, they're doing a great job today of holding on to everything. This is a receiving core that's really come together.
Schneider has no complaints. They go 3 on each side again. And that's what picked up. And it's Patrick Hardy. They did go to work on him, and he goes to work on them, returning it to the 45. Big break job.
Tell you what, it certainly didn't look like he had an ankle injury there. He was limping it all there. That was just a dynamite job. This is the kind of thing that Brent Snyder, I'm sure, wishes he had back. This was a forced pass. Doesn't really have it, throws off his back foot, just kind of leaves it up there. Malinchuk doesn't even see it coming. Patrick Hardy certainly did. Nice job, nice return. First turnover of the day for the Huskies.
And a big one for Patrick Hardy.
Did not play in that 93 team, though, that went to the Vanier Cup. He sat out that season.
Still lots of time, 12:18 to go. Calgary trailing by 11.
Esslinger, the ball carrier.
And Ken Esslinger takes it across right side, pick up about 4 yards. Flag in the play. Looks to be offside against Saskatchewan. So you take the penalty and you take the 1st and 5.
Offside. Saskatchewan, number 37. First down repeated.
David Guthrie, who was a starter for most of this year when Steve Cornish was out, and the starter a year ago, but when Cornish came back in, they decided to put Michael Milo at outside linebacker.
If you have the signature of Greg Heisey on the roster page,
The winner of this game will get to host the Churchill Bowl.
please take your
The Ottawa UGGs, who won earlier over Queens today to win the Ontario-Quebec Championship. It is not often Western teams host the Churchill Bowl. There's Brandon Leatherdale, injured on the play and off in his zone to the sidelines. The last one, 1989, when the Saskatchewan Huskies, when they were emerging as one of the powers in the CIAU, hosted Queens and really destroyed Queens, going on to face Western in the Vanier Cup in '89. It is a 1st and 5 after the offside. Calgary. Esslinger. And not much doing.
Esslinger, the ball carrier.
Good job by nose tackle Trevor Fleischfresser, and of course Warren Musica once again. Boy, he's an intense football player. Just watch how quickly you recognize him. Musica 47 comes up, bang, splits inside and makes a great play. Now, granted, the backside guard overran him and did not kick him out, and that's what he's supposed to do.
Sometimes you assume if he goes outside you, you're safe.
That's
You
right.
get a guy with that kind of speed, he can get back in and figure in the play as Musica did. Play action, and Athens finds a man down at the 30-yard line. That's a 1st down Calgary. That's the man, Don Blair, another reception.
Athens pass complete to Donnie Blair.
Don Blair wondering what trucks hit him there. Boy, he really got popped after he caught that football. Tough, resilient player as well.
Today's lucky fan with introduction to scuba diving.
Again, play action pass. Take it to Eislinger. Eislinger, and now he
Located under the scoreboard to get her prize.
puts it down, then he gets a big pop. Boom. Good job to hold on to the football. Sean Grant in there.
Speaking of holding, you think Trevor Fleischfresser might have had a beef there?
Yeah, might have.
Assen will pass again, and it's nearly picked off. Mike Stewart there off his shoe tops. Flags in the field again.
I believe this is holding.
Illegal procedure and holding against Calgary.
I think they called the holding on Gene Stahl against Joe Saul.
Legal procedure. Calgary declined. Holding 51 Calgary. 1st down repeated.
Sorry, Gene Stahl, it was not you. It was number 51. That's Andy Kolachek, left tackle.
So some more concerns for Peter Cannellan. It certainly moved that football. They've proven that. But 11 minutes now, and the clock ticking down. Still lots of time. Calgary has got to think about getting into that end zone again and making this a 4-point game. It's 11 points now. Saskatchewan leading. Assen, 1st down and 20 yards to go. Airs it out for Blair. Well, that's a little too far.
Wow.
Pass intended for Blair, incomplete.
Nice run. They see Carruthers goes inside, and then that influences Mike Stewart, number 1. Barber tries to give him a little bit of a knock. But you can see it messes up the timing just enough that Don Blair cannot get to the football. Mike Stewart came across, kind of held his helmet like, my God, how did he get behind me?
Second down, 20 yards to go. The Calgary Dinosaurs, they need a big play here with 10:30 to go in regulation time. They get Chris Lewis back in the ball game. He picks up yards but doesn't get back to the original line of scrimmage. And I'm sorry, that's Tarek Jayusi.
A gain of 6. Third down.
Number 32 for the Dinos.
They have a lot of speed in this Calgary team. Jayusi, of course, wanted to get the ball in his hands. He was second in the Alberta provincial 200-meter competition when he was in high school. He's only a first-year player at a William Aberhart. So they have some very good speed with the youngsters in this team.
Ryan Malachek will attempt the field goal.
Ryan Malachek will attempt a 41-yard field goal that could cut the Saskatchewan lead to 8. His longest is 44 on the year. Got the distance, but it is wide. No good again, and they'll try to get it out, and they do, just barely.
Now remember the rule in Canada West. All they have to do is get it out to the 1-yard line, and the ball will automatically go to the 20.
And so, Saskatchewan will scrimmage again, leading Calgary 30-19. Another Calgary drive ended with nothing to show for it, and because of it, Saskatchewan leads by 11. Keep it tuned to TSN tonight. SO NHL Saturday night with Gord Miller and Bob McKenzie. You see the Canucks in Bad News Today with Pavel Bure, and also Cadillac show jumping at the Royal International Welcome Stakes, 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific on TSN. Well, here's Malachek, Jamie, after the field goal coming down.
He and Sean Grant are kind of getting it on here. I mean, that's not usually what happens with a kicker, but hey, he wants to get into it, and it looks like he wins.
I thought the kickers are just supposed to hang back.
First round goes to Brian Malachek.
Well, they're supposed to hang back in case they bring it. Brendan Fogel was the guy in that return. Same situation last week. We mentioned he had a 120-yard return for a TD. Schneider was 4 one side to the left side, and that one into the turf well before any Saskatchewan receiver.
And I tell you what, Schneider got decked.
And a flag on the play.
There's a flag.
And it's against Saskatchewan. Calgary can hem the Huskies pretty deep here.
Rob Richards in there, but again, it's Bednarik, number 71.
Number 59, Saskatchewan, declined. Second down.
I mean, that's that old one when the quarterback says, hey, you held him, but he still got to me. What's going on? If you hold him, hold him. Keep him off me.
If I hold somebody for you, I don't want any grief about it. That's your problem.
Okay.
Second down and 10. Schneider to throw again. And he had a receiver turned around. That's Greg Meikle, who's got a couple of touchdowns for the Huskies today, but
well, it's interesting what Calgary started to do on defense a little bit. They're starting to walk people out. They're taking the linebackers and walking out and covering the receivers, trying to jam them at the line of scrimmage. Then they're playing zone on top, and it seems to be effective right now. It's kind of throwing a new wrinkle into what Brent Schneider's seeing. Seems to be working. Now, where they're going to be weak in that, sorry, Rod, is in the run game, and they've kind of abandoned it right now. We haven't seen them go back to it. So
I'm sure they're not content to set an 11-point lead against an offense as explosive as Calgary's.
Be foolish to do it.
9:05 left. Mo punting into what's left of a breeze. Things have really calmed down here. And not a bad punt. Goes to Don Blair, but he's got nowhere to run. But he's in Saskatchewan territory, so Calgary's just going to load up and try again. They need 11 points to tie this game.
Good job, defense! Good job, defense!
The Dinos are still in it. The headaches will come a lot faster and more furious if they can't start putting some points on the board. Jason Aston and company have been able to move that ball. They need to get in the end zone. Down by 11. Esslinger, lots of room to rumble up the middle. Another first down rushing for the team that became so well known for passing the football.
First down, Dinosaurs.
Trying to run off, tackle left, but you know, all backs have great vision, and Esslinger is showing you that he has great vision as well. There's really nothing there, but he keeps his head on a swivel, looking around and sees that little bit of daylight, and then he runs to it.
Well, pass this time. Assen looking to his left side. He's got a man wide open, and a big pop down by the Saskatchewan 20-yard line. For Tarek Jayusi again.
A gain of 13 yards on the play.
Steve Cornish gets a pretty good hit in here, but a nice job by Jason Assen. You know, just chipping away, comes up in front of Mike Stewart, and Steve Cornish brings everything with him.
Good job by Jayusi to get up and catch that football. Calgary once again hardly took any time at all. At the 20-yard line, they're pressing again. Play action fake. Assen rolls and fires Don Blair off his fingertips, and then Sean Grant gives him a little shot, and he'll pay the price for it. The flags go down.
Well, these officials certainly aren't allowing anything to go unchecked. And rough play against Sean Grant. Huge penalty would have forced it, been second down.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 22, Saskatchewan. First down, Calgary.
Well, the penalty says it all. Roughness is good in this game, but was that ever unnecessary at this stage of the game?
Sure was. The ball's well overthrown. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. No, you're going to get flagged for that.
Wow. So here comes Calgary, down by 11 at the 10-yard line of the Saskatchewan Huskies. Assen rolls and fires, and touchdown Calgary. Brett Campbell. And just like that, the Dinos are very much alive.
Yeah, we talk about the importance of Don Blair, but he was used as a decoy. Saskatchewan had 3 players covering Blair, no one covering Brett Campbell. Good decision by Jason Assen. Look at that, no one out there at all. Mike Stewart dropped off to try and help off on Don Blair, and then Brett Campbell comes up with a big catch. Cochrane High School. Second touchdown this year.
Don Blair has been valuable today, as valuable probably as a decoy as he has been with his own receptions.
Now they're going for 2 points here.
Which makes sense. They're down by 5. They get 2, and they're within a field goal. Not much thought, I'm sure, goes into this one.
Let's take a look at Don Blair here. War Music is on him. You got Trent Bagnall was on him. You might even see Mike Stewart pop into there in that picture. Actually, with Sean Grant, Aggie Georgia Caucus. But there were a lot of people around Don Blair, no one around Brett Campbell.
Peter Cannellan talking it over with his quarterback, Jason Assen. Exactly what to do in this attempt for a 2-point convert. Down by 5 points, 30-25, where you see Jerry Friesen, the defensive coordinator for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
Jerry Friesen, one of the great players, played at U of S and then had a career in the CFL for a while with the Montreal Alouettes and Concord. Came back to Saskatchewan and became the defensive coordinator.
Well, now I ask you, Mr. Quarterback, you can run the football like Calgary. What do you do?
No, you got to do some kind of a rollout where you give Assen a choice. He has to have options here, I think.
Play action?
Usually you try and get outside, make something happen. If it's not there, then he can run it in, but he's got to put some pressure on the perimeter of the defense.
The running game has made the play action really work. This time, he reverses his field. Looks like he's going to try to run it in. He is, and he does, and they get the 2-point convert. The Calgary Dinos are within 3.
And that's just a great call. They run bootleg action. Looks like they're going to sprint right.
University of Calgary Dinosaurs, 27.
And they come around, they bring that backside tackle around with them. Now it's running into the end zone. There's Ben Fairbrother, but a good block on Mitch Barber. And then Jason Assen gets into the end zone.
We got a great finish coming up. 7:39 to go. Huskies by 3. Well, Saskatchewan didn't expect Jason Assen, I'm sure, to run into that 2-point convert.
Jason Assen, not the running quarterback, but this is a really good job. They look like they run and sprint. They bring big Ben Fairbrother around the tackle, number 56. Then they get a good block there by Ryan Carruthers and Mitch Barber, and that brings them into the end zone. But that's what they wanted. They wanted options there, and they got it. Now they celebrate.
And the The onus on this man, Brent Schneider, has a 3-point lead, but I'm sure he knows with this much time left, 7:39, a 3-point lead is not enough.
No, and what he wants to do now as well. And what Schneider wants to do now, well, is drive the football, because he wants to get Calgary, not very many chances to tie this football game up and keep it out of their offense's hands.
The Dinos have not led. They trailed most of the game. The only time they were tied at 8 in the second quarter, but it has been Saskatchewan's lead. Now they're protecting a slim one. Doug Rosen. A good return up over the 40-yard line, so Saskatchewan will have some good field position to work with. 33-yard return for number 23, Rosen.
Now, we talked a little bit about how they've kind of abandoned the running game a little bit. It seemed to be working so well for them initially in the first half. Good numbers for Brent Schneider, 13-23. Only 1 interception, 3 touchdown passes. But now they have to drive the football here.
These two programs have provided so much good football over the past 8 years, and doing it again this afternoon at McMahon Stadium. 30-27 Huskies. Here comes Schneider. He will pass. He's got time, almost sacked, and a pickoff. Jake Kleinsasser, a big break again for the Dinos down to the Husky 45.
Kleinsasser, number 62, drops back in that zone. They're trying to go to Jason Johnston. That was just not there. Not a good decision by Schneider. Picked off. Second interception of the day. Under pressure, Chris Aharko. Well, they bunched it all up inside. Big turnover.
The Dinos are a first down away from field goal position. Although it's going to be tougher to get that first down now with Chris Lewis caught in the backfield and taken for a loss of 5 yards.
Well, trying to run the counter, and Fairbrother, the tackle who pulls around, wants number 56. He trips and falls here. Bang. He can't get outside and pull up. Chris Lewis has to step over him, and the leather man, Brandon Leatherdale, comes in and makes the tackle.
Some congratulations for Kleinsasser on the sideline. A big interception. A big turnover for Calgary. Now they got to make it work. Assen. And he's got a man down near first down territory. It's Brett Campbell, the guy who got the touchdown to get them closer.
Yeah, Brett Campbell's really emerging as one of the big receivers. Now, of course, he's on the side of Don Blair, and that helps him out a lot. Again, good protection for Jason Assen. Sits in there and drills a strike.
Well, this is interesting. It's third down and a yard. They are arguably in field goal range, but it would require the longest field goal or close to it. And they won't bother trying.
This is a good decision, because they're thinking that if they miss it, there's only going to be a 15-yard difference in terms of field position.
This is a big play. And it's Lewis who gets it, and the first down for the Calgary Dinos. Chris Lewis not been a big factor in this second half, but no play is bigger than that.
Power football. See, number 61, Harold Anderson gets around and kicks out Joe Saul. Boy, and Lewis runs up there. A bit of a mismatch there. Anderson, 272. Joe Saul, 202 pounds. Great job, Chris Lewis. What a day he's had. He's only played a half of it.
Playing a half of football. Assen rolling out. Flags in the field. It's complete. Once again to Brett Campbell, out of bounds. But the flag went down in that area. And Joe Saul pointing to it, thinking it should be against Calgary. And it is. Procedure call against the Dinos. A first down negated.
Illegal procedure. Number 20, Calgary. First down repeated.
Now, I think he might have been in that neutral zone before the ball was snapped. Watch this. He's going there. Yeah, the ball's not done. He's ahead of the football.
So first down and 15, and a costly penalty from the standpoint that they would have been well in Brian Mlachic's field goal range. But it is a first down. They try the counter. Gene Stahl, and Stahl is Stahl. The loss of a yard back at the Saskatchewan 40-yard line.
That's a play they tried earlier in the game where Gene Stahl ripped off about 10 yards. This time, no. Defensive lineman making sure that Jason Assen has the football, don't run by it. Fleischfresher does a nice job, and does a great job against the center, Barkley Anderson, and David Guthrie comes in and makes a tackle.
So a 2nd and 16 for the Calgary Dinos. At this point, do you worry about the first down or just worry about getting it down in field goal range?
I think you try and get it down to field goal range here right now.
Assen trying just that, nearly picked up. And a big tip there. The old tip drill, but nobody around to pick it up. Lots of coverage, good coverage, and first down yardage. That's what they were going for Calgary.
Nice job by Calgary nice job by Saskatchewan. They attack it right here. Boom, Sean Grant comes up, does not make the interception. Don Blair, pretty close to it, keeps his eye on the football. But boy, 2 guys going right into it. They had Bagnall on them. They also had Sean Grant.
And now they will try that field goal, but it is big distance for Brian Malacha. This is past his longest. This will be from the 47-yard line. It could tie the game. Deep enough, but wide, very wide. Saskatchewan will have no trouble bringing it out. Brennan Phobel gets it out past the 10 to the 12-yard line.
And once again, that ball will go to the 20.
So that offside, that procedure call on Don Blair, costly there for field goal range. Well, TSN will have the Atlantic Bowl. It'll be the Western Mustangs and the Acadia Axemen next Saturday, starting at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. And we will also, of course, have the Churchill Bowl later on. The Ottawa UGGs against either the Saskatchewan Huskies or the Calgary Dinos. I defy you to accurately pick one right now. A toss-up, 3:52 and counting in regulation time. Brent Schneider has had a great day, but struggled. Last 3 balls, twice picked off. The throw to Jarrett Rennie. Big yards up the middle and a big first down for Saskatchewan. Wanted to eat precious time off that clock and get a good long drive going.
And a nice play here because they go into that shotgun, so it looks like a passing formation. Then they run the draw to Jarrett Rennie. You see that finger that he has all taped up. Nice job. Gets sealed. They try to pull the guard, David Fisher, around, but there's nobody there. Does a nice job putting his head down and surging forward and getting the first down.
Drive a truck through that hole as well. Beautiful work up front for the Huskies. And they need it. 3:20 in the 4th quarter. Saskatchewan by 3. They'll run it again. And they'll get yardage with Rennie again. As the clock keeps winding down. Good to keep it on the ground, especially when you can pick up this kind of yardage.
Well, it's a good decision by Towers. We talked about how they kind of abandoned the running game. Now they're coming back to it, and they're getting good yardage. First down the first play, and we have an injury down there in the field, and
that's Jarrett Rennie.
Jarrett Rennie.
And the look on his face, it doesn't look like he's in an extreme amount of pain. Something with his right leg. So again, you see that taped up finger.
Good, tough, hard run. Gets his shoulders at the field. I think he takes that helmet right on that right thigh. And looking at a Charlie horse.
Greg Heisey getting it in there. Rennie actually was the starting halfback, but he went down. That injury we talked about at UBC, where he lost part of his finger in his face mask. And that's when Doug Rosen emerged as the starting halfback. And now they have shared duties since Rennie came back. And he came back a couple of weeks ago against the Alberta Golden Bears.
This is the kind of injuries, if it is a Charlie horse, he wants to get some ice on it as soon as possible before it stiffens up. Look at concern for Calgary, realizing time is their enemy right now with 3 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in this game, barring overtime.
What a game it has turned out to be. Much more reminiscent of the first time these teams played this year when it came down to the final drive. Unlike that game in Saskatoon where the Dinos had their way, winning it with ease. Critical. 3 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. The handoff again. Saskatchewan keeps it along the ground. Short yardage, but enough yardage to move the sticks again.
So all they want to do is try and now hit the clock. We're going to get a timeout here for the 3-minute warning. And so that helps Calgary.
Doug Rosen, big first half, long run to give Saskatchewan a little bit of comfort. And a 1st and 10 for Schneider and the Huskies. The 42-yard line of Saskatchewan. 2:34, the clock ticking. In the fourth quarter, the Huskies lead by 3. Another draw. And it works to perfection again. Another big gain. 11-yard gain for Doug Rosen.
This is where I think Calgary now have to start to gamble again. You can see Derek, he actually overruns the play. Good job by Doug Rosen. Take a look at the room right in the center here. Take a look. That's where he's going to run the ball, right in through here. Just take a look, and there's Rosen right there. Can roll it. Trying to run that trap, and boy, I'll tell you what, no one there, and the official is actually the closest guy to making the tackle.
Saskatchewan ran this type of play to success earlier in the game. Obviously, that's what Calgary was worried about earlier on, but still can't defense it. Rosen picks up close to another first down.
And boy, how big is this, being able to run the football in the last few minutes of the football game. Calgary can't stop him. I was going to say, what Calgary going to have to start to do now is gamble a little bit. Get people up tight to the line of scrimmage. Try and stop that. Good block on Bendarek. Boy, great balance by Doug Rosen.
Over 100 yards on the day for Doug Rosen. 107 and that one touchdown in the second quarter.
You're going to be hearing a lot from this guy in the next few years, I can tell you that.
In his first year, second and short. Saskatchewan's bread and butter has been passing, but no need to go to it the way the ground game's working. Schneider, lots of room over center. Takes the escort and goes across the 45-yard line, and the clock continues to tick. Saskatchewan keeping it on the ground, a first down.
And you know, it's almost better for Saskatchewan to get it like 2nd and 1 because it takes more time off the clock. Use a couple of plays, get 3 more downs. You should be able to run this clock down under a minute unless Calgary stops it.
I don't know if anyone could have predicted that the running game for both teams would have been such a factor in this football game. Started at the 26th place, 44 yards, big yards, all on the ground, and they stay on the ground. And finally, Calgary is able to stop it for a very short gain. It's Rosen again. He might have got a yard.
Calgary take a timeout, which is a good timeout to take. 1:18 left.
Brian Tower is talking things over. Brent Schneider, Greg Meikle, what a game he's had. Couple of touchdown catches.
Now that was a good timeout to take with 1:18 because Saskatchewan, with 2 more plays, could have run the clock to under a minute. Actually, well under a minute.
Jason Assen, Peter Cannellan love to get that football back. They've shown they can move it. They need their defense now.
Well, they have to stop them in this series right now if they have any chance.
This is a huge play. It is 2nd and long.
And you see what they're trying to gamble for here is that 2nd and long that Saskatchewan's going to try and throw the ball. If they can stop it and it becomes incomplete, that will stop the clock anyway. And so Calgary will get the ball back with minimal time being taken off the clock.
And minimal time left in this game. 1:18 on the clock.
The key is they have to stop it.
They're still outside field goal range for Greg Moe. You would have to think so anyway. It would require about a 51, 52-yard kick. 2nd down. About 9 yards to go for the Huskies. And they'll keep it on the ground with the draw. Jarrett Rennie back in the football game. Won't get the first down. Calgary's D holds up. I just wonder now if Saskatchewan will just punt or go for a field goal.
No, I think what they're going to do now is they're going to punt it, but he's going to angle it to try and get the roll into the end zone and out to make it a 4-point game. That's what I would do right now. We'll see what happens. Try to run the draw here. They want to try and burn as much time off the clock. Pretty good move, but a good job by Calgary.
And Chris Bell is the injured Saskatchewan Husky down. He's in that pile-up. Being attended to.
And that's not good because Brian Towers wants the clock to run. In fact, they get a free timeout. John Colavini makes the tackle. Saves a first down. You can see Rob Kidd comes in there as well. And you see Bell gets pushed back onto the pile and people are on his legs for 66.
Always the most dangerous time when you get in on a pile and you get people coming on, adding their weight, your knee can twist.
It looks like
he's
his ankle.
A lot of pain, his ankle,
Yeah.
his left ankle.
Yeah, it gets caught and then you go back and you can't. It's flexed all the way back.
Sorry, especially on the artificial turf. That much more of a bite and grip.
Boy, he's in a lot of pain. See, right there, actually, I believe it's Rennie who falls into him, gets hit back into him, and he gets his ankle cut. Got to concern Brian Towers. Chris Bell, the veteran of that offensive line, fifth-year player. Bit of a Cinnaboya.
Now, Saskatchewan will kick it away, and bear in mind, with 1:12 to go, it's a 3-point game. If Calgary can drive and get a field goal and force overtime, they will have 2 10-minute halves. Reminiscent of the Vanier Cup last year when Saskatchewan went into it against Western. And remember, Saskatchewan with a 3-point lead late in that Vanier Cup when Frank Jagus hit a 42-yard field goal in the final play. And the Western Mustangs are still alive in 1995, winning a squeaker over their arch rival Laurier Golden Hawks to move on to the Atlantic Bowl and face Acadia.
Well, Brian Towers, he's got a lot to think about right now, but he's breathing a sigh of relief.
And the Ottawa UGG's in for the first time since 1980 off to the Churchill Bowl to face the winner of this game.
Sorry, Rod. Chris Bell is walking off under his own steam, so one less thing for Brian Towers to worry about. Greg Moe in to kick. See if he tries to angle it.
He's had a great day of punting, not just for distance, but as Jamie pointed out, his accuracy too, keeping it away from Don Blair.
And they put Don Blair on the left side of the screen because they think that's where Moe's going to try and kick it out of bounds. So that's good job by Peter Cannella to put him on that side. Letting time run down.
And we are under a minute to go, 49 seconds on the clock. Understandable why Saskatchewan does this at this point in the field. Take the time count violation.
Time count violation, Calgary number 11. Third down repeated, 10-yard penalty.
It's 10 yards under the first three, when it's under 3 minutes. Now, if they do it again, they would lose possession of the football. So you can be sure they're kicking it away this time. I'm not so sure Brian Towers wanted to do that. I think what he wanted to do is wait, try and snap the ball just to the last possible moment. Keep the clock running.
So here's Moe standing back at the Saskatchewan 47-yard line. Type of moment where a guy like Don Blair can really rise to the occasion. If he can get his hands on that football, it's kicked his way, and Don Blair has it. There's a flag in the play. Finds some room. Blair! Boy, can he run with that ball across the Calgary 40-yard line.
Home punt travels 29 yards.
Interesting to see what the call will be.
22 yards.
35 seconds to go. If it's against Saskatchewan, Calgary will have some excellent field position to work with.
Come on, Donnie, let's go, let's go, Red!
We have no infraction on the play. First down, Calgary.
Wow, what a big break for Calgary. Not a very good punt. Get a great return. The last guy in the world you want to kick it to is Don Blair. And you can see he almost breaks this one.
And Greg Moe in to at least force him to change direction in his field.
They're about 30 yards away from being in Malachik's range.
This is what it's all about. 35 seconds left in the clock. The Dinos trail by 3. Assen to Carruthers. Trying to bluff that, and it's dropped by Don Blair. Tried the hook and ladder.
They tried it. It wasn't there, actually.
Reminiscent of NFL game.
Miami Dolphins. Pitch to Carruthers. Now he pitches it out, and they miss it. Blair does a nice job here. He knows the rules, just knocks it out of bounds, realizing it's only the last guy who touches it. I don't have to have possession.
And even if he did catch it, Sean Grant was there, although Blair has proven he's great in open field running. He can break tackles. 30 seconds on the clock. A risky play for the Dinos.
Well, I think what he wanted to try and do is pitch the ball while he's moving up the field to him, not when he's going laterally. It's so tough to do that when you're working two-dimensional.
They clear the backfield. They're throwing again. And completing a pass over the 50-yard line. Tarek Jayusik, close to midfield, 20 seconds on the clock.
And it's 3rd down and 2, Rod.
This is the ball game right here. At least for Calgary, they need this first down. If they don't get a yard, they lose. Assen will pass. And he'll hit it out. Looking for Brett Campbell. He's got it. And he dropped it. And they rule it the catch. They rule it the catch. Down at the Saskatchewan 11-yard line. Now they're discussing it. And the Huskies are incensed. 11 seconds on the clock. And Towers can't believe it.
And who would have thought you'd be throwing the bomb with 3rd and 2? Nice.
Wow. How close?
Boy, I don't know. I don't know if he had 2 feet down and had control of it. I tell you what.
Easily within Malachik's field goal range to tie it. 11 seconds to go. Huskies lead it by 3.
They're going for the win now.
They may at that. Assen looks for the end zone, and it goes short. 4 seconds left. No choice now but to bring in Malachik, and here he comes.
Assen has intended for whether incomplete.
Boy, what a play by Brett Campbell.
There's an interesting angle in the history of these two teams. We talked about Saskatchewan leading by 3 with the field goal to tie it. What about Calgary and Bruce Parsons against U of T in the Vanier Cup 2 years ago, looking to tie it?
Or what about back in 1988 when both of these teams played regulation time? They tied, they went into overtime, and Calgary won it and went on to win the Vanier Cup.
From 17 yards away to force overtime. And it's good. 30-30 with no time left, and we have got overtime and the Hardy Trophy in Calgary.
You know, I've still got to go back to that call. What a call on 3rd down and 2 to throw the bomb. Peter Cannella, he's got ice running through his veins. Everybody was thinking they'd be throwing the short pass, trying to get the first down, maybe even running the ball. But not Peter Cannella. He was going for it all.
The Calgary Dinos have done a lot of things against the trend that they had established this season. They've kept us guessing. I am sure they've kept the Saskatchewan Huskies guessing. You see the tying field goal.
10 minutes out.
Split it.
Hey, we've got OT. Number 79, Malachik, wearing the same number as Bruce Parsons. And this time they force overtime.
And Brian Towers must feel that he's been stung twice. The Vanier Cup last year, Frank Jaggis kicked that field goal to force overtime, and now Brian Malachik.
It's one thing to say it's easy to hit him from 17 yards, but when the whole season is on the line, I defy anyone to say that that's easy. It's never easy.
They always look so calm, those kickers, afterwards. They have these bundle of nerves. It's hard to get any release. You're not out there playing, and they expect you just to run in and kick the ball.
I wonder if Towers' sarcastic chuckle is referring to Brett Campbell's catch and drop that set up that field goal to tie it.
Well, there it is now.
Does he have possession?
Geez, you know, from that angle, it's really tough to say, but you know, I think he's got control of the football. I honestly feel he's got control of the football. Came down 1 foot down, had control of the football, then it gets stripped away. Yeah, that's a catch. I think that's a catch. Yeah, I think it's, when you see the regular speed, it looks more like he had control of it, and he caught it, and the official...
I think it was a catch.
I think it was just a gutsy call. A gutsy call, not by the official, but by Peter Cannellan and Jason Assen to throw the bomb.
And remember, 3rd and 2, that was the ball game. So 2 10-minute halves.
And Calgary will kick off to Saskatchewan.
There will be stop time in the last 5 minutes of each half.
University of Saskatchewan will receive.
Saskatchewan was in this situation in the Vanier Cup last year against the Western Mustangs. They had played so well in the second half and didn't play well in the overtime. Those who remember, I'm sure, are thinking of atonement. A very similar situation when they had a 3-point lead in regulation and saw it evaporate, that time off the foot of Western kicker Frank Jaggis. A much less tense kick, I'm sure, for Brian Mlachek. Corey Flaman takes it down at his 10-yard line and doesn't get too much more. He is stopped at the Saskatchewan 17, so the Huskies will be buried deep in their own zone.
It's a team that looks like it's got momentum right now. You can see Ken Esslinger running down there. He makes a great tackle. And now it's up to this guy.
He knows about pressure.
They're all saying there's a flag down. I believe they're going to re-kick this. I think Calgary were offside. Break for the Huskies.
So that'll move it 5 yards back. And with a bad return, it is a good break for the Saskatchewan Huskies. We expected drama, we expected points. I don't know if we expected overtime, but it's a delight for us. I'm sure Peter Cannellan or Brian Tauris might disagree. A beautiful game so far. 2 outstanding teams this year, great programs who have dominated this conference for so many years. Clash of Titans that now comes down to 2 10-minute halves to decide who will host the Ottawa UGGs in next week's Churchill Bowl, one of the 2 national championship semifinals that we will have here on TSN next Saturday. Will it be Calgary? Will it be Saskatchewan? Won't be long before we find out, but a little longer than we expected. He'll try it again, Brian Mlachek, this time from his 40-yard line. And a better kick this time. And Rosen takes it and finds some room up the middle. That's Jarrett Rennie, number 32, gets out over the 40-yard line for Saskatchewan.
Well, that's a big return for Saskatchewan. And he's in a lot better field position. Add another 20 yards on from that last kickoff. Nice job by Jarrett Rennie. Waits for his wedge to form, and then when he sees the hole, he accelerates in there. Boom, now he sees it, now he goes. Good blocks.
And a good return, 37 yards. This was the story in overtime for Schneider. In the overtime against Western, 2 for 20. And he was so brilliant in the fourth quarter. It all changed in that extra time. He's 1 for 1 in overtime, finding Brennan Phobel up near the 45-yard line.
A gain of 4 yards on the play.
Well, once again, I think one thing that Brent Schneider has going for them is a run game. Again, just running down, 3-step drop, a hitch pass, hits Phobel, tries to get up the field. A good job by Rob Kidd. Bob Kidd comes up and makes the tackle. If you have any advice for Brent Schneider, don't abandon that run game. It was working wonders for you in the dying minutes of the regulation time. But they had no backs in the backfield now.
2nd and 5. Schneider to pass and does. Close to first down yardage. And a big pop out around the 45, 50-yard line. Brennan Phobel again gets it, and he will be close.
They're going to be short, I believe, by a little bit. Schneider looking left, comes underneath the Phobel. What's a big hit by John Colavini? Boom. Knocks him back. Phobel does a good job to try and keep his feet and get up, but I believe he had to get across that stripe. I'm going to call for a measurement.
Close enough to measure. Looks like.
Uh-oh. Huh. Now, who kicked it?
Now, what about that spot, Jamie?
It looked like he took it back a little bit.
It looked like it was taken back a little bit. I thought it was a little bit.
So I thought the back end of the ball was initially positioned over the line.
And this is short, and Brian Towers is arguing.
Third down. Saskatchewan.
That would have been a first down by the nose of the ball, and instead it's 3rd and short.
Well, they're just going to run QB sneak here, I think, and get it. Try and use those big linemen up front.
You got an angry Saskatchewan sideline if he doesn't get it. Angry anyway, still thinking about the Brett Campbell catch that they dispute, but that's a first down Saskatchewan, so the Huskies move. 8:19 left in the first overtime half. 30-30 the score.
Hey, I think that Brian Towers really wants to try and get out of his head right now is, you know, his team's playing on the road, they're playing in Calgary, and, you know, coaches sometimes have a tendency to think we're being robbed here, we're being jobbed, you know, we're playing at another person's stadium, we're not getting any of those breaks.
Of course, all the officials for this one out of town, not from Calgary.
That's right.
No complaint that way. 51-yard line, Schneider. First down, 10 to go. Complete, over the middle to Phobel again. Picks up at least 6 yards on the play. And that was Greg Meikle, not Brennan Phobel. Meikle, who's had an excellent afternoon. A couple of touchdown catches. And there you see the postseason record of Brian Towers. He has turned this program around. And the 4th loss was the toughest one for Towers to take, I am sure, last year's Vanier Cup. A mission for this team to get back there. And they are oh so close. As is Calgary at this stage of the game in overtime. Schneider looking right. His receiver Malinchuk is coming in. Reached back for it, but not there.
And you see, that's the danger right now is Saskatchewan going to that spread look. They don't have any backs in the backfield. Calgary start to come with a blitz and heat it up, and therefore, you know, look, he's throwing off his back foot. Awful tough to throw the football effectively that way, and Calgary lock into man coverage, knowing that the rush is going to get to Schneider. They've got the rushing 6 guys, only have 5 guys blocking.
So Saskatchewan's first drive in overtime stalls at midfield. Greg Moe will punt it again from his own 42-yard line. Last time he kicked it to Don Blair, and Blair nearly broke it. This one is going Blair's way again at the 26. Not much room on the outside, no choice but to take it out at the Calgary 30-yard line. That Dino offense that had been moving so well in the second half will get their first crack in overtime to see if they can put some more points on the board. And for a guy that has been shut down for much of the game, not bad yardage. He finds a way to get them, doesn't he?
And not just that, he's an excellent blocker, and, you know, plus he's such a decoy. Everybody's after him. You know, when you had Brent Campbell catch that touchdown pass earlier, no one around Brent Campbell, 3 guys around Don Blair.
Remember Campbell's name, though. 2 big catches for the touchdown to get him close, and then the play that set up the field goal. Work the running game again, and instead of Esslinger, it is Chris Lewis back in the ball game, picking up 5 yards.
Sorry, Rod. In some ways, this might be a big advantage for Calgary because Chris Lewis has not played the whole football game, so he's going to be a little bit more fresh right now. On the other hand, with Doug Rosen playing most of the game, a good job by Lewis and that offensive line. Gene Stahl, of course, the lead block.
Second down, 5 to go. Dinos at their 36. Assen will throw again. And he completes it. And it's up closer to midfield for the Calgary Dinosaurs. Moving it on the ground, moving it in the air. Tarek Jayusi again for Calgary. And he is very quietly having an excellent day as well.
Yeah, what a find he's been for this team. Nice job going up. Great awareness where he is. Gets the first down. And what I like about all the receivers that once they catch the ball, in both teams here, is they knife up the field right away. They get going north-south. They don't run laterally across the field very much.
Jayusi goes wide left. And they hand off. Short yardage over the middle for the big fullback, Gene Stahl. Not too short yardage at all, as it turns out, as he bulls his way for 6 yards on the play, so that sets up second and short for Calgary.
So that's a straight power football right now that Calgary's running with Gene Stahl in there. Nothing fancy. They just man-on-man double team James Rapesi.
We're in the first of 2 10-minute halves in overtime. 5:18 to go in that first segment of OT. Calgary came back. They were down by 11 points. Came back to tie it. largely without this man, Chris Lewis, back in, and he gets close to the first down.
This is going to be close. Run the toss, scraping linebacker comes across and makes the hit here. David Guthrie, good form tackle.
David Guthrie, one of the many products of the University of Saskatchewan from Saskatchewan. I think all but 4 on that roster this year from the home province. Big day for Chris Lewis. All condensed in a half. And they go short yardage with Jason Assen carrying himself in the 3rd down gamble. And like Saskatchewan's not much of a gamble that close in. They move the sticks again. They're across midfield at the Saskatchewan 50-yard line. The last time Assen called his own number, it was big as well. The 2-point convert that put them within 3 points, and no one expected that. See Brett Campbell in there now, in for Kevin Klein. Klein was one of their top receivers during the year, but not a factor right now. Campbell has been huge. The backup coming in, more passing for Calgary. Ryan Carruthers has 5 and has more down around the 42-yard line of Saskatchewan.
You know, Jason Assen has really been the epitome today of poise and confidence. Doing a real nice job. They're giving him Ryan Carruthers in the flat. Take him, force him to come up. That's a great 8-9 yard play. Great numbers today. 309 yards, 3 TDs.
And a very slow start on this one. He had some drop balls in the first quarter. They were frustrating. 2nd and short, about a yard to go. They give to Lewis. He's got it. Calgary moving that football. 3:29 left in the first overtime half. And the Dinos are getting into scoring country.
Now, the thing is, they will kick off again in the second half, so.
Legal procedure, number 56, Calgary. 2nd down repeated.
Well, that call on Ben Fairbrother takes them out of scoring country, at least for now.
Ben Fairbrother, one of those offensive linemen who played in 1993. Harold Anderson, of course, being the other.
So from 2nd and short to 2nd and long, and 6 yards, 7 yards to go. The Huskies trying to defend the 47. Stop Jason Assen, and the Dinos are picked up. Warren Musica, a huge interception for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
By number 47, Ryan yards on the return.
Take a look here. David Guthrie's going to cross it. He forces pressure. And then Warren Musica steps in front of him. Guthrie getting all sorts of pressure on the quarterback. Forces Assen to throw the ball a little bit earlier than he wants to, and Warren Musica comes up with a big interception.
Warren Musica not so subtle. He can pop, he can cover, he can stop the run. He's done everything today. A great day of defense for Musica. Jarrett Rennie takes the toss and will go nowhere. Maybe a yard. The Huskies at their 40-yard line.
Jeremiah gained 2 yards on the play.
Good job,
Jason Assen. Such a good day as it turns out. What to do the next time the Dinos get the ball. And they may get it soon. It's 2nd and long for Schneider and the Huskies in their own territory. Just over the 40-yard line. He will pass. It's almost picked off. Philip Schnell, number 25, saw it go through his hands, and he could have been gone if he'd caught it.
Now we got Sasha Blaskovich. He's taking a football down here. Now Jason Assen took a big shot from David Guthrie the last time in that last game. Now take a look at this. No backs again in there. I'm not so sure this is really working well for Saskatchewan. They seem to be running the ball pretty effectively with Doug Rosen in there and mixing it up again with Jarrett Rennie. They've really abandoned that run game, and that works so well for them. I think Jason Assen looks like he's going to be all right. He took a big hit from David Guthrie in that last interception.
And that pass maybe a little bit high for Snell to pick up. Punch short for Mo. Calgary will get good field position again at about their 42-yard line. It heads out of bounds.
Mo is having such a great afternoon, averaging 42.5 yards throughout most of this game, but really has tailed off.
That was a 24-yard kick. We are in overtime in Calgary, the first of two 10-minute halves. There will be a second half regardless of score in this first one with 2:21 left in that first 10-minute segment. And unlike regulation time, where we had points, it seemed, almost on every drive or drama, things have settled down a little bit. Chris Lewis getting a lot more time in overtime, taking the toss and not finding much. Running backs were running rampant, getting lots of yardage in regulation, but even that has slowed down a little bit. Defense is tightening up. If you tuned in to watch Raceline Snow Tracks, our apologies. We've gone overtime here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Dramatic finish to the Canada West Championship. Jason Assen can't find anybody. He'll take off again. And he will not get close to first down yardage. Picks up about 3. Calgary will be punting.
Good coverage by the Saskatchewan secondary. Nothing there. Assen decides he's not going to throw it up. Pulls it down, and Michael Milo, along with Mike Stewart, come up and force him out of bounds. Calgary forced to punt.
With 1:57 to go in this first overtime half, you got to start thinking of the value of the single point and this new rule. Of course, talking about yardage, but
CIU, that's right, where you can.
You have to. You have an incentive to run the football out and not ruin your field position. Punt from the 40 for Malachik. Oh, Corey Flaman watches it roll, a Calgary roll down to the 5-yard line. Beautiful punt by Malachik.
You know what? He's a fifth-year player. That can't happen. One of the things they always tell you, field the ball, take it in the air. You cannot allow it bounce in front of you because it usually adds on another 15 yards. He had plenty of time to come up and take that punt. This is just a guy who doesn't seem to be very confident right now in fielding the ball. Now, you've got to take this in the air. Watch this. Bounces in front. He bounces over his head. So they lost a good 12 yards there.
Turns out to be a 55-yard kick. Nowhere near that in the air, of course, but a Calgary rule hems Saskatchewan deep in its own territory. Remember, this is a half. 1:38 left in it. So at the end of that half, they will kick off. Field position will not matter. Schneider to throw. And to throw long. And he's got a man, and it's complete. Greg Meikle again at the 35-yard line.
Well, they run a wheel route here with Meikle. He goes out into the flat, and then he turns up, and they bring Malinchuk inside. Rob Kidd, the corner, bites on Malinchuk. And Schneider just airs it out. Doesn't get really the best football he's ever thrown, but nonetheless a big pass. And see Kidd comes off, and he's the corner over there.
Time and again from the second half on, Schneider's been hemmed in deep. Time and again, he's been getting them out of it. This time, a 29-yard completion to Meikle. And they're on their 35. Schneider to throw. It's tipped, and it is intercepted. Again.
Brent Schneider again looking to Greg Meikle. You can see it's pretty well covered there. Got a guy up front. You can see that it gets tipped by Greg Heisey. And the interception. Again, Greg Heisey tips it up. Now it's jump ball, and Dan Jeremiah goes up for it, gets the rebound, and comes down with the interception. Schneider's going, I shouldn't have thrown it. I shouldn't have thrown it.
Wish I had that one back. Dan Jeremiah, the veteran, one of 4 Jeremiah brothers to play for the Dinos.
Now Calgary's got to be thinking field goal here, Rod. 1:09 left.
Passing to throw. That's about the first bad thing Brett Campbell's done today. He's had such a great day, in and out of his hands, before second down.
And it's funny how it really goes down to fundamentals. You know, one of the great strengths of Brett Campbell, of course, he catches everything in his hands, except that time he tries to take it off of his body. Real tough to do to get to the rebound.
1:06 left in the first half of overtime. Regardless of what happens, the kicking off again And having a full 10-minute second half. Stop time in the last 5 minutes of each half. Assen to throw. Incomplete. Down around Saskatchewan's 35-yard line, intended for Tarek Jayusik.
Incomplete. Third down.
You almost get a feeling that both teams, none of them really feel that kind of pressure right now. They've kind of relaxed off a little bit from how they were playing in the fourth quarter. It almost seems like the second overtime is when all that pressure comes on again and they start to play hard.
There he is, Brian Malachik, forced overtime with a 17-yard field goal. Short, but lots of pressure, and he could pin the Huskies deep again. High snap, and he gets it away. And another great roll. Flamin dropped it. And will have to concede a point. He won't, but I don't think Calgary's giving him any option. And the flags ensue.
A 68-yard punt by Brian Malachik.
68-yard punt from Malachik. He has been getting the rolls.
Fumbled, recovered. There was a flag.
Another tough play by Corey Flamin in the end zone. That was dangerous. But a flag on the play. It was one Dino at least who was throwing a punch in the end zone. Both sides exchanged unpleasantries.
Unnecessary roughness. Calgary, number 11. After the play, dead ball foul, single point stands.
John Colavini.
Now, we just finished talking about the high, well, we have a high snap here, but we just finished talking about Flamin not taking the ball on the fly. Now, he's got ample enough time to take that ball. Bounces over his head, and then it goes into the end, and now he has all sorts of trouble. Now watch number 11. At the bottom of your screen. A couple of punches thrown, and the official right there to flag him. Now, you've got to think now, with that penalty, that puts the ball at the 50-yard line for Saskatchewan. They only have to move about 30 yards, 45 seconds left, and stop time to get into field goal range.
So even though they give up a point, a good break for Saskatchewan, all things told. Now trailing Calgary 31-30, the Dinos' first lead of the game. Schneider will try to get that back, finding Miko over at the Calgary 45-yard line.
Talk about threading the needle here. Brent Schneider looking at Greg Miko, puts it right in between. Now ball pops out. The official already blew the whistle.
The Dinos argue, but to no avail. It did look like a fumble. Looked like he had possession of it long enough, and it seemed to be stripped from him before he went down. But it is 1st and 10 Saskatchewan. 45-yard line. 3 right, and Schneider is hurt.
Oh, he hurt his knee.
Brent Schneider is down. This does not look good for Saskatchewan. He's had knee trouble before. Missed several games last year with a knee injury, and he is hurting.
Well, he hurt his knee last year playing against Calgary in the second game of their matchup a year ago, and that's why he missed the playoffs last year until the Atlantic Bowl. And that's that knee. It's going back. It's that right knee. Or that left knee, I'm sorry, that left one.
Plants and twists. This does not look good at all.
And you know that brace is there to stabilize the knee, to try and stop that from happening, but nothing's 100% foolproof, and you can see that it. Take a look at the left, right there. You can see it just buckles down on him.
And there is Dave Reedy, number 12. It's interesting to point out that 2 weeks ago, Saskatchewan had a big lead on Alberta and gave Reedy nearly a quarter of playing time. They did the same thing last week because it was a nothing game at UBC. They already knew they'd be coming here for the playoff game, and Reedy got another quarter of play.
And you know, you look at the similarities, go back to 1988 when they went into overtime against Calgary. They lost their starting quarterback, Saskatchewan did, in the last play of that overtime game, Greg Gallant, and he did not play any in the overtime. But a good sign that he's walking off the field.
And it's some of the most damaging injuries, the worst, seem to happen at times in the most innocent looking of plays. This is not the way Brent Schneider wants to go out. It's very likely
not the way Dave Reedy wants to come in. Second and long in overtime.
Big pressure. And it is second, good, 4 yards to go. Sorry, 14 to go. They run draw to Jarrett Rennie. And he gets a few yards, but they'll have third down and long. It's interesting to bring up 1988. These two teams met in the Canada West Championship, and that one too went to overtime before Calgary prevailed 46-33.
Pretty good QB playing for Calgary in those days, Bob Torrance.
And they went on to win the national championship, defeating the St. Mary's Huskies.
Brent Schneider.
31-30 Calgary. The Dinos leading for the first time. And 13 seconds left in the first half of overtime, 2 10-minute halves. That score does not matter at this point. They will play the full 10 minutes of the second half. And there will be a kickoff to start that second half. So field position will not matter. Greg Moe prepares to punt again. You can't help but glance down around the Calgary 10 and look at Don Blair and wonder, might he get the ball again, and what will he do with it if he does? If I was Saskatchewan, I'm kicking it right.
You know, a smart play by Calgary to call the timeout here with 13 seconds so that Saskatchewan could not just run the ball out, run the clock down, and get out of the half. They want to force Saskatchewan to kick it, possibly get the block, possibly get into Don Blair's hands.
And it's a high snap for Saskatchewan as well, but they're setting up the return. And Blair gets the ball. Not yet, actually. He doesn't have much room and elects to just take it out of bounds at the Calgary 15-yard line. The Dinos with a 1-point lead, 3 seconds to go in this first overtime half.
3 seconds left in the first half of overtime.
The winner hosts the Ottawa UGGs, who earlier today won the OQ IFC Championship over the Queens Golden Gales.
And Ottawa U, you talk about running games you've seen here today. They have a very good running game. Carlo DeCipio, the former Gorman Trophy winner, Rookie of the Year. Now University of Ottawa having a super year.
Ontario, Quebec teams have had a tough time playing out in the Canada West. In '89, Queens lost to Saskatchewan. '85, Carleton was thumped here at Calgary. And they're content to run it out and see what they can do in the second half. They're going to break, and so are we. Saskatchewan Huskies aren't sure about Brent Schneider. Can he play again? We'll be back after this. I will be in Halifax as the Acadia Axemen host an old familiar rival, the Western Mustangs. That one first at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. .31-30, a 55-yard single. And if Calgary can hang on, the Dinos will get this. The Hardy Trophy, a trophy they are very familiar with. Last winning it in 1993. And this is the guy, Brian Malachik, the field goal to tie it, and then with a single to put Calgary in the lead. And I believe they had a coin toss once again. And Calgary has the wind again and will be kicking off.
And I think that Calgary, see, they flipped the coin again at the end of the first overtime half, and they do it all over again. And I believe Calgary won it, and they wanted the wind at their backs.
Makes sense. The wind picking up a little bit more. See if they can hem Saskatchewan with a backup quarterback down in their territory. The kick is taken, and field position won't be too bad. Corey Flaman looking to atone for some earlier mistakes, getting it up over the Saskatchewan 40-yard line.
And that was a good job by Flaman that time. You know, catches the ball in the air and then sprints it, takes it right up the field. One thing coaches hate to see is a ball lying on the ground, especially when teams are kicking it to you.
And look who is back in the ball game. It looked oh so bad for Saskatchewan. Here comes Brent Schneider. He doesn't miss it down.
Brent Schneider back at quarterback.
He is limping. He is favoring that left knee that he twisted on their previous drive in the first overtime half. We are in the second overtime half, and Schneider has been performing well. Passing again, finding Jason Johnson over the middle for 6 yards up to the Saskatchewan 45.
And you know, if there's ever a time now that your offensive line want to protect your quarterback, it's now. I mean, if he goes down again, things get pretty tenuous. Not to say that Dave Rady can't come in and do the job, but I mean, Brent Snyder's the guy that brought you to the dance.
There's no way Schneider wants to see this whole thing unravel from the sideline.
2 quarterbacks over 300 yards today.
Lots on the ground, lots in the air. Everything you'd want in a great football game. And more on the ground for Saskatchewan, close to first down yardage for Jarrett Rennie, number 32.
Rennie, the ball carrier.
And Rennie is down again for the second time of the day. Earlier, he took a hit to the head.
First down, Saskatchewan.
Boy, it's like being in a closet in there, isn't it?
Taken up on the play.
Where some bad things can happen as well. Once again, looks like a head or neck injury.
Come on, defense!
Forward progress stop gets pushed back. It kind of like his head hitting the turf. Oh, it's a shoulder. I think it was just the way he landed on that right shoulder, and especially on this hard surface, the rest of your body moves, but the shoulder doesn't, and something's got to give.
Must be the most nerve-wracking time for a running back to be standing up in a pile with the whistle not blown, with guys piling on.
And especially when you're moving backwards.
The knees can twist, so many bad things can happen.
Well, looks like he seems to be all right.
We've seen it both ways today. For this guy, Brent Schneider, it was innocent looking, no one near him. But he is back, and he did not miss a single down for Saskatchewan. The Huskies at the 49-yard line, approaching midfield, down by a point with 8:46 left in the second overtime half. Looking again for Johnston, and that one falls short.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this up again. I just wonder where Doug Rosen is now. I mean, he's had over 100 yards rushing today. We haven't really seen him much, and they've kind of abandoned that part of the running game.
Rosen a big factor in the first half.
See Jarrett Rennie come back into the ball game.
Rosen had a 55-yard touchdown run in the second quarter for Saskatchewan. Second down, 10 to go. Huskies at their 49. Schneider rolling left. Looks and fires, and nobody there. Once again, it looked like he was trying to hit Johnston.
And that's great coverage by the Calgary defense. Once again, coming up with some big defensive plays. This was a unit that was much maligned during this year. Everybody said, wow, they gave up too many points. They're right on their average, actually, 30 points per game, but good coverage here. Boy, everybody covered.
The pace really slowing down in overtime. We had all sorts of offense in the second half of this ball game. From the second quarter on, really, but 1 point to show for nearly 12 minutes of overtime so far. 31-30 Calgary, coming down to 8 minutes to go. In the second overtime half, Greg Moe from his 35. Bad punt. Very bad punt. Great field position for Calgary. This one out of bounds around the Dinos' 50-yard line.
Boy, that's not the kind of performance you want to see from your punter. You want big things from your punter in this time of the football game. Has all sorts of time under really no pressure, just shanks it off the side of his foot.
That is a 6-yard punt. What a time for a 6-yard punt.
I want to watch his head. No, he kept his eye on it. He just missed it.
His foot did not hit it flush.
Last punt, 6 yards. He was having such a great game earlier.
Dinos, their own 54. Assen hands off. Esslinger in again. And reminiscent of the third and fourth quarters, he's got some room to roam.
There they go.
Near first down territory.
Sorry, Rod. They put the fresh running back in there. Chris Lewis comes out. This guy's very intense, very quick feet. Started off to the left. He loves to cut back. He has that great lateral movement.
And Lewis is coming in, and Esslinger comes out. Lewis sending in a play for the Dinos. You have a second and short yardage situation. Calgary keeping the fresh legs in the backfield. Maybe one of the subtle differences in this ball game. It is oh so close in OT. Assen airs it out again for Don Blair. Close. Not close enough. Blair reaches for it, but it falls down incomplete in the Saskatchewan end zone.
You got to love the call because, you know, they're in third down. I mean, this is the 3-down team right now. They're second and short. Why not fake that and then go deep and try and get a big one on them? Nice pass. Nice try by Don Blair, just a little bit out of his reach because they're going to go for it here in third down, and they've had pretty good success going for it all day. So that was a good call.
A game full of turning points. My goodness, 31-30. Calgary leading it. 6:50 to go in the second overtime half. And third and short and close.
I'll tell you what, he just got that by putting the ball out over the line at the last moment because he was moving nowhere.
How many times today have we seen third and short yardage?
Barkley Anderson just gets plowed right back into Jason Assen, and then Assen, realizing he's been stopped, just kind of hurdles that pile and puts the ball over and gets a first down.
A great second effort by Assen. What a day he has had. Not only throwing the football, but plays like that, running it himself and handing off this time to Esslinger, who is all tied up. Brandon Leatherdale has him and won't let him go. Pick up maybe 2 yards for Calgary. With the clock continuing to tick, 6:20 left. But remember, it is stop time in the last 5 minutes of the overtime half.
Well, good job by Leatherdale. Just splits that block of Andy Kalachik.
At one point in this game, the Dinos trailed the Huskies by 17 points. But they were moving the ball. Several times their drives came up dry. They had nothing to show for it. A great offense from both teams today. Play action fake. Esslinger. Assen fires. Got Don Blair wide open. First down. Calgary at the 32-yard line, Saskatchewan.
And Calgary continue to pick away. Jason Assen being very, very patient. Comes out in that sprint out. They cross the receivers. CIAU Georgikakis releases Brett Campbell, and then Assen does a nice job of throwing the ball on the run. Nice catch.
The Dinos wanted a late start to this game because they knew the day was going to get warmer. Well, this game has certainly got hotter. And a long game it is, but not a long gain for the Calgary Dinos. And first and 10, that was Esslinger. Essentially nothing.
5:21 left to go. Time will stop in the last 5 minutes.
You just tuned in recently. Only 1 point has been scored in overtime, and that's after almost 15 minutes of OT. It came on a 55-yard single by punter Brian Malachik. It rolled over the head of Corey Flaman in the Saskatchewan end zone. He had no choice. Assen turns around and fires into strong coverage, but it's complete for another Calgary first down. And that is Ryan Carruthers.
Hey, Jason Assen has shown a lot of courage, boy. He gets rocked here after he throws this one from Trevor Fleischfresser, but look at that, puts that ball right on the money. And the reason that play is so successful, he starts out to his left, he gets all the linebackers kind of shifting over, then he comes back inside. Take a look at this hit. Boom, right up underneath the chin. Fleischfresser.
Trevor Fleischfresser in his 5th year, hoping this isn't his final game. Down by a point, and Calgary's looking to build on that lead. Esslinger is caught. He is stuffed, and the Dinos have lost yardage back to their the 24 of Saskatchewan.
And there's a guy who's fired up, David Guthrie. You know, he's been a starter a year ago, is starting this year, but they were replacing him with Michael Milo. Did not start today's game. Look at this big-time play. He gets a chance to play, sheds off that block, comes in and puts a big hit on Esslinger.
4:12 to go. Second overtime.
Blair misses him. Boom.
Second down. 12 to go. Asser. Incomplete. And they're in a field goal situation now. Bring on 79, Brian Malachek, who's the man of the hour so far.
Good job by Ashton to step up, but again, Mitch Barber right there. Now Carruthers is saying that he was hit before the ball was there, and he's got a case. You see his head kind of snap before the ball arrived, but the official did not throw the flag. 2 of 3 today, as long as 17, but none bigger than the one to send it into overtime.
He's missed earlier in the day from the 30-yard line, as has Greg Moe of Saskatchewan. This has been a tough country for some reason. And it's wide again. And another point, however, for the Calgary Dinos. We take a 2-point lead, 32-30, with 3:34 to go. And a field goal would still give the Saskatchewan Huskies the lead. Greg Moe, I'm sure, is starting to think about that. What a game this has been.
Well, they've given Greg Moe the moniker Moe the Toe.
Last year, Saskatchewan would not have been in very good shape because they didn't have a field goal kicker.
And watch what he does. He just gets away from everybody because I think he realizes that it's going to have to come down to him maybe hitting one through here. Keep his hands warm.
And he'll have to do it against the wind. 1st and 10 from the 35. Schneider. And he's got a complete pass to Jason Fielden. Another unexpected guy carrying the ball out over the 50-yard line. First down, Saskatchewan.
Well, that was a big-time catch by Jason Fielden. You know, he makes a great catch, and he almost stumbles, keeps his balance, and gets up the field. Look at this. Nice catch right there. That's a rocket. Now he just turns it up. Now watch this. He gets banged right here out of bounds, but that's all right. I mean, he's trying to tiptoe up the sidelines. Gets knocked into the snow.
He's a fullback. He's used to that sort of rough stuff, I'm sure. 1st and 10, Saskatchewan. Schneider will pass again. Some pressure from Richards. He gets away. And no one is there. And nearly picked off. Patrick Hardy, who already picked off one Schneider pass, nearly had number 2.
Just miscommunication between he and receiver Malinchek. Malinchek takes it out. Schneider thinks he's going deep. Patrick Hardy should have had the pick.
The 3-minute whistle goes. 2:55 on the clock. Calgary Dinos 32, Saskatchewan Huskies 30. 2:51 left in the second overtime. Shotgun formation. And 5 receivers out for Schneider, who steps in and finds Greg Meikle, but it's dropped. Looked like Meikle had it and dropped it at the Calgary 40.
We got to punt it away.
You ready, offense?
That's what Brent Schneider says. Meikle coming in from the left of your screen. Boy, put that ball right there. You got to come down with those.
And Meikle has today. To his credit, he's made some nice catches, but when you're in overtime, the clock ticking. That's the kind of thing that could make a difference in this one. Before Greg Moe can think field goal, you got to get a little closer. So it's the punting duty. His last punt was only 6 yards. Needs a lot more than that, or they're in big trouble. And he gets more, a low spiral, spinning down to Don Blair, up at his 30, going nowhere around the 31, 32-yard line, 2:28 in the clock, but the Dinos have the ball. And there is an interested spectator who is hoping to take center stage tomorrow at McMahon Stadium. Doug Flutie trying to come back from an elbow injury. He did not have a good week last week against Hamilton, throwing 4 interceptions, and got kind of booed by the fans here at McMahon. That must have hurt.
That's
everything
incredible.
He's done.
That's incredible when you consider the kind of career he's had so far. Just incredible.
Calgary hosting the Edmonton Eskimos tomorrow for the Northern Division Final. There is drama here as Chris Lewis takes the handoff and moves out a gain of 6 yards for the Dinos.
Well, that's a big run there by Chris Lewis. Looks like he stopped initially, but just keeps those big legs going. And try to run power off tackle. Fleischfresser right there gives him a little hit, but he bounces off. Muzyka has to make the tackle.
2:19 and counting. The clock ticking down. Valuable seconds, especially for the Saskatchewan Huskies, who trail by 2. Calgary with the ball. Saskatchewan helpless. They need to get it back. Lewis again, and they will get it back. Big play, Trevor Fleischfresser, to force Calgary into a punting situation.
Well, Trevor Fleischfresser has really come on here in this overtime. We've mentioned his name a few times. Playing nose tackle, slides into that gap left. Barclay Anderson can't make the block on him, and Fleischfresser does not make the tackle, but he makes the play. Again, to the right of your screen, you see him. He comes in there, gets his shoulders squared up, gets his arm on him, but now forces Lewis outside. Joe Saul scrapes down and makes a tackle.
All I can say is Larry Ring and the Ottawa UGGs can't do any prep yet. Must be wondering who on earth they're going to be facing. Although it's looking better for Calgary now with 2:03 left. And a 2-point lead, however. Saskatchewan gets the ball back and can get a bit of a drive going. And they can get in Greg Mo's field goal range, and it could be the Huskies.
Now, one thing you do notice, the 2 deep men now for Saskatchewan is not Corey Flaman anymore. They put Derek Malinchuk back there with Aggie Georgikakis. And I'm sure Brian Towers has told him, you catch this ball in the air. Yeah, win quite a factor here. Sorry there, Rod. We win quite a factor here, of course. Calgary having the win in both overtime halves.
This game's gone a lot longer than maybe everybody thought. And stay tuned to TSN right after this ball game, and we will have Sports Desk right up and complete highlights of everything that went on in this busy day of CIAU football. The only game that remains undecided, the Canada West Championship. 2:03 on the clock in the second overtime half. Another high snap. Lachik once again gets it away. And it's taken by Derek Malinchuk. Check that, Corey Flaman at the 32-yard line. Not much of a return for Saskatchewan. And this is the drive.
High snap. Ben Fairbrother, the offensive tackle, is the center, but a nice one-handed catch by Malachek. Advantages of having a tall punter.
He's had to do that a couple of times. And done it well. 1:52 on the clock. Saskatchewan needs to move the football. It is that simple. 3 wide right. Incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Well, Calgary defensively right now are playing 5 under, 3 deep, rushing 4. Trying to make those lanes very narrow in that level 2, just behind between the linebackers.
We expected offense, and we got offense. Over 1,000 yards total between these two teams. What a show they have put on. A show that is winding down. 1:48 on the clock. And it's almost picked off. John Colavini could taste it, and only the end zone lied ahead.
Here's what Schneider sees, no backs in the backfield. Colavini just dropping off into that zone and attacks the football. Steps right in front of Nathan Schellenberg.
3rd down, 10 to go, and they're going for it. This is the ball game. The Dinos lead by 2. They need to stop Schneider and the Huskies, and if they do, the Canada West title, for all intents and purposes, is there. And the pass is complete. 1st down, Saskatchewan. Derek Malinchuk.
What a great play here by Malinchuk and also by Brent Schneider. Gets outside, running the out, drills it low. Make sure he gets his hands underneath, not to allow the ball to hit the turf.
Is that clutch? 1st and 10. And this one is caught. Shorter gain, 5 yards on the play. for Malinchuk again. What drama. 2nd and 5. Huskies trailing by 2, needing to get in field goal range. Schneider to throw again. That one close to being interference, but it is dropped. Colavini, another big play for the Calgary Dinos to set up 3rd down again.
Colavini is really playing well here. This is a nice job again. He attacks the football. He sees Johnson coming across and gets that right hand in there. That was a nice play by Colavini.
It was timed perfectly. I thought, seeing it the first time, he might have touched him a little bit early, but he did not. That was a great play. And another 3rd down drama. 1:25 in the clock. They need the 1st down, or it's over. They don't get it. The Calgary Dinosaurs take over. 1:21 left. And a 32-30 lead. And barring a miracle, the Dinos should be moving on to the Churchill Bowl, hosting Ottawa U next week. 1:21 is a lot of time. We do have stop time. But it would be an enormous task for the Saskatchewan Huskies now.
Brent Schneider trying to go to Jason Fielden, who made that big catch earlier. This time he put it right in the money, but Fielden could not come down with it. Just backpedals, 3-step drop, tries to get him out in the flat, just drills it, boom. And a good hit by Phil Snell.
And he lets Fielden know it was a good hit. Schneider was 5 for 8 before he got hurt, but he cooled off substantially in overtime since coming back after that knee injury. All Brian Tauris can do is watch. With this amount of time, 1:21, there is not much hope for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
And the injured Calgary Dinosaur was Rob Richards.
Look at the career record. Bear in mind, Brian Tauris is a very successful coach. He basically rebuilt Saskatchewan's program. The one team, his nemesis, has been Calgary.
Let's go, defense.
Here come the Dinos just to keep it on the ground. No mistakes. 1:21 left. We're past midfield. They have a 2-point lead and a fumble. Now realizing how premature I have been in declaring this a Calgary victory when something like that could happen. Saskatchewan has one timeout left, 1:17 left to go.
When I talk about when you exchange the ball, this mesh flow exchange, there wasn't any of that. And Jason Assen got to make sure he gets that ball into the fullback's stomach. Don't want to be leaving the ball on the ground.
Once again, if you tuned in for Sports Desk, we're happy to give you the end of a dramatic football game, and Sports Desk with all the news and highlights coming up right after our coverage of the CIAU. Gene Stahl, hoping he and his Dinos will be right here next weekend to take on the Ottawa U GGs.
Well, a big play right now for the Saskatchewan defense, as well as that offense for Calgary. Saskatchewan thinking now that Calgary's going to throw the football. They called the timeout, hoping to get this ball back with just over a minute left to play.
And if they do, then I'll realize exactly how premature I've been. In the excitement of the moment when you got over a minute to play, and all you need is a field goal, it is not over. Saskatchewan could easily, well, maybe not easily, but could still win this game. They need a break, though.
A minute's an eternity in Canadian football.
Second and long. Good 9 yards for Assen and the Dinos. And they elect to pass. A hitch pass to Don Blair. And Mitch Barber's got him. Mitch Barber with a great play to prevent Blair from getting any further.
And just a nice job. I mean, that's the guy you want to get the ball to. It's your money guy, Don Blair. But, you know, Mitch Barber does such a great job of recognizing what's happening instantly. Boom, he comes up, and Carruthers can't make the block on him because Carruthers supposed to kick him out. And then Don Blair cuts it up inside.
Blair rubbing that wrist. A little sore.
Well, they only have one guy back, and that is Derek Malinchuk. You can be sure that Saskatchewan's going for the block right here.
The last 2 snaps have been high, and I'm sure that is not lost on the Huskies as they go for it. This one is a little low. Mlachik has lots of time to get it away to Malinchuk at his 10-yard line, just inside. And nowhere else to go. Out of bounds, 48 seconds on the clock, and 100 yards to go for Saskatchewan. Actually less than that to set up a field goal, but they need lots of yardage here to have a hope of winning this football game down by 2 points.
Rod, they have to go about 60 yards in order to give Greg Moe a shot. That would be about a 47-yard field goal. And he said his longest in junior football was 52. But again, he's kicking against the wind.
We talked to Greg Moe before this game and asked him if he was ever in that situation to win a football game. And it happened only once when he was in junior football, and it was one of the first games of the season, not potentially the last. Shotgun formation. Schneider near his own end zone. Has a man open and a first down to Brennan Fobel out around the 20-yard line.
And that's a good play right now. You know, they can do it in increments like that, 10, 15 yards. You've got plenty of time, 43 seconds left. Good
Close
job.
ball on the sideline. 1st and 10, Saskatchewan. From the shotgun again. Schneider throwing it every down. And looking similar route to Fobel. This one high and out of bounds. 38 seconds left. 32-30. Dinos. Saskatchewan led through most of the game. Calgary, in the dying moments, kicked a field goal to tie it. At one point, Calgary trailed by 17. Second down. He needs 10. He's got it. Over the 30-yard line, first down Saskatchewan for Derek Malinchuk. And he is down.
Not good news for Saskatchewan. Schneider just puts everything into this football. Nice job of coming back. Oh. Looked like he caught that right foot underneath the leg of the defender.
A good day for Malinchuk. Derek Malinchuk in his first year with Saskatchewan. There was so much change at receiver for Brian Tauris and the Huskies. Malinchuk has really emerged as the go-to guy, their top receiver. In the year after losing David Blackburn and Kerry Prokop, that's why it took Saskatchewan so long to adjust. Boy, were they showing some strength passing the football today. A reminder that TSN will be with you for the Atlantic Bowl next week. 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 Pacific. The Western Mustangs against an old familiar rival from years gone back, Katie Axman, who won today. And then the Churchill Bowl following that. Ottawa, either here in Calgary or with a Husky comeback, a field goal perhaps. It would be at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon. Right now, it's looking like it'll be back here at McMahon Stadium. 30 seconds on the clock, and a first down for Schneider and the Huskies on their 30-yard line. Passing again, and it's tipped, and Reddy gets it, and Reddy gets up over the 40, up over the 45. It looked like it hit a couple of Calgary players before it went into Reddy's hand. 20 seconds on the clock.
It's incredible trying to run the screen. Garrett Everson tips the ball.
And the whistles go. Schneider not able to get this one off.
Can you put the clock back to 20 seconds, please? 20 seconds.
The clock sits at 19. 1 second ticked off, but they did not consider the play to have begun at all.
Well, you're looking now only 25 yards to get into Greg Moe's range. 20 seconds left. More than enough time.
What a wind up in Calgary. As
as close as you can come in the second overtime half. Almost picked off. Colavini knocks it out of bounds. He was looking for Phobel. And 13 seconds remain. 2nd and 10, Saskatchewan.
You see right now, I think Saskatchewan, they're trying to throw the ball outside. Calgary's really defending outside well. You know, you can get something down the middle here now because time will not run out on you. You would still get time for one more play, but they need yardage right now.
Just ahead of their 45-yard line. Clock starts at 13 seconds to go, and over the middle they look, and it is incomplete. Looking for Jason Johnston, and it is over him. And 8 seconds remain, and a 3rd down and 10. I think safely now I can say this is the ball game. A 2-point lead for the Dinos.
Well, there'd be only one hope here right now. I mean, if you're going to throw a Hail Mary, fine. But if you still want to try and get into field goal range, they've got to instruct people that if we throw the ball down the field, once you catch the ball, you have to go down on one knee right away and stop the clock.
The season on the line for the Saskatchewan Huskies. They lost a heartbreaker after leading in regulation to Western last year, went to overtime and were beaten. A bad snap! Schneider! The Calgary Dinosaurs are going to be Canada West champions for the first time since 1993.
Against the University of Calgary Dinosaurs.
Fix your hand, let's go! All right, go shake their hand. That's a great idea.
Jason Assen and the Calgary Dinosaurs are moving on to host the Ottawa UGGs next week. A thriller in overtime, coming back to win this football game 32-30. Here's the play that ultimately decided. Brent Schneider seeing more heartache. The Saskatchewan Huskies are going home. We'll be back.